What up, fam? Guess what? It's HUD Wednesday nights. It's Christmas Eve because baseball season is upon us tomorrow. Hit the damn like, hit the damn subscribe, and let's go.
Oh my God!
I'm embarrassed!
He's flying!
Welcome in. It's almost time. Welcome in, everybody. This is HUD Wednesday nights, only on HUD Radio. Frank, your goddamn hat.
Looks like fucking Flat Stanley, bro. Remember those books, Flat Stanley? It looks like his fucking hat.
I had to look away. I was like, I didn't see that.
If that doesn't get you guys jacked up for opening day, nothing will. This is HUD Wednesday nights, only on HUD Radio. Every Wednesday, we are brought to you by our good friends over at FanUp, and FanUp is the best way to enjoy fantasy sports, daily NBA, MLB contests, and more. Win great prizes. Sign up today. You can use our promo code A2D. You get $50 right at sign up, and you can download FanUp on the Apple Store. So go do it. As always, Frank Vespi, Greg Milakovic, Ralph Del Vecchio, Ryan Brodo. I'm Tom Arnone. No Chrome. Who knows where Noah is? But the show must go on. We'll have our MLB season predictions. Who's going to the World Series? Who's winning the World Series? It's crazy to do this early, too, because, like, and even, basketball and hockey are marathons, right? But there's nothing like a Major League Baseball marathon and the ups and downs and the ebb and flow. So we're going to get into all of that. We'll give you our NL East predictions. Who's winning the NL East? The three wild card, the three teams make the playoffs again from the NL East. We'll break down the whole National League, give you everything. Who's going to the playoffs on both sides? Our main topic at hand is the 2023 Phillies season preview. And honestly, last year we came into this and there was a lot of momentum. Obviously, when you sign a guy like Nicky, you sign a guy like Schwarber, you feel good going into a season. But last year we went to a World Series. So it just feels good to come into a season with this much excitement and this much momentum behind the Phillies because it has been that long, right? So it's going to be fun to talk about. It's going to be fun to break it all down. Our poll question tonight is brought to you by BOAGGIO'S Bread, and they're located in Mount Laurel, New Jersey. They're the home of the best stuffed breads, tomato pies, sandwiches, cutlets, meatballs, you name it. You mention HUD Radio, you get 10% off your purchase. So go in the BOAGGIO'S Bread in Mount Laurel, New Jersey, and use our promo code HUD Radio, 10% off your order. Our poll question for tonight: the Phillies will win 90-plus games this year. Do you agree or disagree? And you can let us know. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. That's where we're live. Everywhere you get your podcasts, we're there as well. Hit the like, subscribe, follow, join the conversation. Let us know what you're thinking. Are you excited? Are you jacked up? What's your expectations for this baseball team? What's it? Is it NLCS or bust? Is it World Series or bust? We'll get into all that kind of stuff throughout the show as well on what you're feeling right now going into it. To the poll, I see some people sort of on the disagree a little bit too. You have to agree. Not you don't have to, but like you can't think that this is an 87-win team again, and it's lightning in a bottle, and they're going to go on that type of run. That's unfair to ask, right? It's unfair to ask. This team should host an NLCS or an NL Divisional Series, coming to Philadelphia, right? That's what it should be. Somebody should be coming here for 5. We shouldn't be playing in the first round playing games, right? We shouldn't be doing that this year. We're hosting it. You're coming to Citizens Bank, and it's Bedlam at the bank again. That's what it should be. So I'm not settling and being like, it's okay if they don't win 90. Get the hell out of here. With the amount of money that's on this roster, with the talent that's on this roster, and I get it. Rhys Hoskins is a monster loss for this baseball team. All right, but this is a baseball team that's upgraded their bullpen significantly from what it was last year. And at the end of last year, they were lights out. All right, this is also a baseball team that upgraded their rotation. All right, going to get a guy like Walker, upgrade your rotation. Okay, we know we have concerns about Ranger right now. We're going to always have concerns about Zach just because of the way his career's gone. Nola's adorable kitty. We know that. And Walker's usually an adorable guy, right? So we don't really know, besides that, the health of a rotation. But on paper, it's better than it was last year. It just is. You go get a guy like Walker, it's better. All right, Rangers pitching big games in the postseason. This bullpen's better. And even right now, with the loss of Rhys Hoskins, this lineup is better. It's better than it was last year. All right, and you can make arguments that this roster is arguably one of the best rosters that we've seen as a Philadelphia Phillies fan. It just truly is. I know other rosters have won it. Doesn't mean on paper they were better, right? This is legit. And I'm not going to shit on the Mets or the Braves or pull any of that crap. I'm just telling you guys, it's got to be 90 or above. We shouldn't be settling for like 87 and just find our way in. Get the hell out of here. We dictated this year. Right? We dictated, and it starts with not getting off to a horrific start again. Because you shouldn't have to make up that much ground in the second half. And I don't want to hear that, we might go 60 games without Bryce Harper. Again, I'll say it one last time. This lineup is loaded with or without Bryce Harper. So these guys shouldn't get no damn excuses if they aren't winning games before Bryce comes back, right? They shouldn't. Attention to detail, right? Get after it. I'm not telling you got to get off to a 15-1 start, right? I'm just telling you you need to tread water, right? You need to be, 15-8, right? Like that kind of start, right? And I don't expect them to come out scorching hot, right? Just like after a long season, etc. But they got to come out playing good baseball. So that's where I stand on it. I'm not going to settle when you go spend money. I'm not going to be like 86 is cool or one more than last year, guys. No. You got to either win your division or be number 2 in your division. And that's going to equal 90 plus. Boys, what do you say? Family out there, what do you say? Let's go. Felt good to talk some Phillies right there.
Just for research purposes, the over-under, according to DraftKings, is 88.5. Just to give.
Got to be an over.
Yeah.
Ralphie, I'll go real quick. To me, and Tom, I completely agree with you. I have them at like 91. I'll probably have them by 92 right before the first pitch tomorrow, just because I'll have full adrenaline rush of having them back. I keep hearing, again, justifiably so, you're without Harper. Well, we were without Harper for an extensive period of time last year. You're without Rhys Hoskins. Yeah, that's a big time loss. Even coming from somebody myself, I'm not, nor have I ever really been a Rhys Hoskins guy, right? But it is a loss. It's a loss for numerous different reasons. There's question marks about Ranger. You don't have Andrew Painter. There's a bunch of different things here. You have question marks about what Marsh is going to be, Castellanos is going to be. Yeah, find me a team that doesn't have question marks. Find me a team that doesn't have as many question marks as us, if not more. It just happened. Like, there's no perfect team, right? And even then, the perfect team coming into an offseason or going into, first pitch opening day, it doesn't always illustrate the way it's going to actually happen when, you start playing baseball games. As much as everyone wants to talk about the negatives and what we're going to be without, you have effing Trey Turner. You have Trey Turner. Like, I don't want to say like this has been like kind of lost in the shuffle, but part of me thinks like, oh yeah, that's right. We have Trey Turner just because of how early we kind of got him in this whole process in the offseason, right? You have him, like you said, Tom. Bullpen is better. The rotation is better. And also the guys outside of Harper, Turner, obviously Real Muto, Schwarber, the guys that have kind of, you're expecting to really lead the pack here. Other guys are allowed to get better also, and I'm sure we'll talk about it a lot tonight. I expect a handful of those guys to really improve, right? Both pitching guys and positional players. I think you're going to get a lot of that, to be honest with you. And here's the biggest thing, right? And I think this is one of the biggest keys of this entire season outside of the obvious. Knowing that you got to a World Series with a disaster in the first half, and Tom, not to sell it short, but we also have to remember too, we got to 87 wins with a disaster in the first half of the season before June, and a semi-disastrous September, once again, which we're always just keen for, right? And you still get to 87. Now, are there going to be bumps in the road? Sure. That's just what happens in baseball, right? It's not a sprint. There's going to be a 7-game stretch where it's kind of like, it's not the year. And then there's going to be a 7-game stretch right afterwards where it's going to be like, oh my God, it is the year. But you did all that with getting nothing from Nick Castellanos. Now, I'm not going to act like I know what Nick Castellanos is going to be. I don't think anybody does. I don't think Nick Castellanos knows what he's going to be this year, right? But if you can actually get something from him and he can play anything like what he was signed to or anything like he was in Cincinnati, that's only going to be an upgrade. And oh, by the way, you're getting Harper back. You survived with I don't want to say a much worse roster because I feel like that's taking a shot of last year's roster, but you survived with that Harper when things were going really bad last summer. You've got improvements, and I think other younger players are in line to really not take the mantle for him because the guy's the MVP, the guy's a superstar, but you have enough talent here where you can survive the first half of the year and really go into that second half of the year strong, going right into the playoffs when you should. So I completely agree. I feel really good about the team.
Yeah, one player doesn't dictate a whole baseball team, right? We saw when we signed them, right? It didn't change drastically. We had to add more pieces.
It took a while to get to the playoffs. It took a while.
And before you guys go, I truly believe if there's holes to be filled, etc., that they are not going to sit on their hands. They're all in now. So they're all in when you're all in and not halfway in finally, this is, you're going to see those types of moves if necessary, right? I don't think they're looking to trade their farm system unless they have to. So, today was a good move to go out and get a good defender. He's never lived up to it offensively. Doesn't mean he can't. But he was a top-rated prospect that's never lived up, right? So you're hoping a new place and a new opportunity can bring life.
Can I ask you and Greg specifically, and I'll ask everybody else obviously too, with Pache, is he not just Mickey Moniak in disguise? Is that kind of just the same mold of a player?
No, I mean Mickey.
No, he's a little bit more refined.
Yeah, he's definitely a better defender, Greg.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, offensively,
You're right. Offensively, he's never lived up to the hype, but he's definitely a better defender. And even as potentially bad as he was offensively, he still was better than Mickey.
I like the move. So
it was just he didn't fit with Atlanta's plans of being really good real fast. Right,
and then Oakland,
and then he got sent to the barren desert of Oakland.
For what? Olsen? He was in the Olsen.
That was
trade?
in the Olsen deal. Yeah, that was the Olsen deal.
So I mean,
this year.
he was just moved. Yeah, he was just moved again now. So we'll see. We'll see. Maybe he finds a home. Maybe he's able to be extremely versatile. I mean, we can't have enough good defensive outfielders late in games. So to me, it's a no-brainer move. Mm-hmm. You're not looking for bats right now. You're looking to play defense. You're looking to pick it. You're looking to find your way to 27 outs every night.
I'll throw this in here too when you talk about the difference between this year and last year. Somebody with his hive and upside, again, now you're pairing him with Kevin Long, Pache, is slotted as your backup center fielder. Last year, again, a team that eventually ended up on the World Series, you had a platoon of what? Herrera, Quinn, Veerling. I don't think Hazley was still on the team. I don't know where he's at anymore, but it was a disaster there.
Somewhere.
Now you actually have options there.
Yeah.
With high upside too.
And they're still young.
And I hate to say this because the Kevin Long's a great point. If you want to listen, right? I mean, understand something like me doing a lesson compared to Kevin Long doing a hitting lesson, a lot different. I'm probably going to get a kid wet under the ears, wants to learn, wants to be a sponge. These guys, a lot of times what makes it hard is they get there doing it a certain way, and it's hard to get them to buy in. Now, he has a track record of getting guys to buy in, so you hope he can. You hope he can. Go ahead, boys.
Go ahead, Greg. I'll go last. We'll just go around.
Yeah, okay. I agree. I agree to the poll. I mean, like you both said, are there concerns? Sure. Right? Do I wish, we were going 6-man rotation and Ranger was healthy and Painter was healthy? Sure. Right? Do I wish Bryce was here right away? Yep. Kind of the same thing, right? As critical as I have been of Reese, is that a big loss, especially locker room wise and off the field wise? Yep, 100%.
Oh, by the way, I'm in that camp too, right? Like,
right, no, yeah.
I've called him fake Babe Ruth for years, but I'm not gonna act like it's not a big loss. Go ahead, Greg,
no, 100%. I mean, can you replicate on the field? Yes, you can replace the on the field production, but you can't. What he brings to the clubhouse and to the bench is something that's going to be tough to replace. But again, I agree. our bullpen is stacked. You both mentioned our lineup, even without Bryce right now, is stacked. Yes, there's questions, right? Is Marsh going to, find this bat right yet? You know what I mean? Marsh is another one of those guys, highly rated prospect, has finally been, got traded out of Anaheim or LA, whatever.
hell, baseball hell.
But played well enough defensively that we can live with a 250, 260 hitter if that's what he becomes, right? But This is going to be off the top of your lineup. This is going to be, centered around your four guys, right? Trey, Nick, Kyle, and JT, right? Those are the guys that are going to have to carry you, and then we're going to see what type of year Alec has. I think he potentially has a good year. So, no, I definitely agree. And especially in terms of this trade real quick, the less I have to worry about seeing Edmundo Sosa and or Scott Kingery play center field as a right-handed option for Marsh, I'm good. Give me anybody but those two, and we're good.
So you're a Dalton Guthrie guy then?
Oh, yes, please. No.
You didn't say him, so I had to throw him in there.
Well, he's not playing center field. He's a corner guy.
Oh, well. Then what about Caveman? Is he
Jake
somebody?
Cave?
Cave, Cave, whatever.
Yeah, I don't know who the hell that is.
No, I don't. I was like, wait, that's a person? That's a person?
I mean, it's
He's probably guest on a Saturday show, but what do I care? So.
Christ almighty.
I think Jesus God. A former Saturday show, I assume.
Yeah,
with some
yeah. Me and you have the same hatred for the same person. So me and Frank on an island just buys a guy who can't even type his own name.
I'm a proud anti-Steveite, as we like to say. So.
Well, this is weird. Like one of the Roto Champ, I don't even know who Roto Champ is, right? But they got like Jake Cave as like one of your starting outfielders. So that's if they have Schwarber DHing.
That's what I was going to say. I think that's probably what they might do, whether it's Cave or Guthrie.
Can we just call him Cave? Can we just call him Cave?
We'll call him Cave. Just call him Cave.
Because I think Schwarber's going to spend a lot of time DHing.
Welcome.
Mike, do you agree to the poll?
Yeah.
Come on, Frank.
Ralph just wants to go.
Because I'm going to get fucking hosed for my shit. So just get this over and done with, please.
Do we need another word change? What's going on here?
I'll go.
Yeah,
Ralph. Every single year we do this. It's 97 wins or 90-plus wins, and I always say agree, and we never get there. So this year I'm changing my stance. I'm going disagree, and we're going to get 90 wins just because I say disagree. Listen.
I like it.
Team player, Ralph.
Yeah, I'll take one for the team. I'll go disagree. I think losing Reese obviously had 30 home runs last year. That's big out of the lineup, right? Losing 30 home runs out of your lineup is pretty huge, especially when you don't have Bryce there for about 50 plus games this year so far to start off the year. Hopefully we can stay afloat because the first 6 games of the year, obviously we play Texas, then we go to the Yankees, right, to start off the year. So it's Texas Yankees. I mean, shit, we could be sitting at 3-3, and everybody's like, "Well, time to make a trade."
You're saying that if they lose tomorrow, Ralphie?
Yeah, right. We lose tomorrow, everybody's getting their trade machine out.
Don't extend Nola. Yeah, that's right. Why we need to extend them.
Need a first baseman. Right. Derek Hall's not the answer, which I don't know.
Yeah, right. Derek Hall goes over 4 3 strikeouts. Yeah, we're asking for Jason Giambi or Mark. Somebody come over. But no, I'll be different. I'll go disagree. I just think losing Reese, obviously 30 home runs, and not having Bryce for 50 games to start the year or whenever he comes back is a big loss. And obviously, hopefully the bullpen is what it is. And you know how the bullpen works in Philadelphia. We signed some of these guys and they don't pan out. David Robinson would be a big one. Came off a great year with the Yankees, came here and absolutely fucking sucked. Other than that, I'll go disagree. Just be different, and I'll stay in there, and hopefully to God it changes, and we get 90-plus wins.
Ralphie, I'll ask, since you're going disagree, and everybody can answer this obviously, but what's your outside of just missing Harper and Hoskins not being there? What's your biggest concern entering the season for them? Is it a certain player? Is it a position group? Is it the division?
It's pretty much the division because the Braves are still no matter how much the Braves stay quiet, they're still good. And the Mets, I mean, whether we like it or not, the Mets are pretty good. I mean, the Mets are really, really good, whether we like it or not.
Oh, I mean, we like it. They can be good, but I mean, losing arguably the best closer, losing the best closer in baseball makes you not as good immediately. Hardest 3 outs.
I think they have the offense, though. They have the offense to make up for it.
You're just talking about a team that absolutely collapsed in front of our faces again. That lost.
Correct.
One of the most important positions. The most important positions in baseball, which is the closer, because the hardest outs are the last 3. That's why the guys get paid so much. I think the Mets are really good. So I'm not trying to shit on the Mets. I'm just saying that's even more significant of a loss than a Rhys Hoskins loss. That just is. And it's the facts of the matter. I mean, his fingerprints are on so many games. And then how do you fill that in? Who's the guy? David Robertson? Like, I mean, who's the guy that fills in the 9th for them? I know they got some young guys, and you know they're talented. I don't buy into the Mets hype. If you want to braise me, I'll die on that hill with you guys all day. I'm never gonna come on here and act like a fucking 90-year-old Max Scherzer I'm scared of and Justin Verlander. I'm just not. Everybody that goes there ends up underachieving. I mean, they just do.
Can I look at? I'll continue going. Like, obviously, Senga is really intriguing, but again, when a guy switches leagues, we have to see it first before we anoint him as the next coming. But here's the other thing too with their starting rotation, which I think we would all agree is their strength, especially now that their bullpen's already diminished with their closer being out. You have Scherzer again, question mark just because of the age and health. Verlander, same deal. Carrasco, he can't wait to get injured. And they already are going to be without Jose Quintana until at least July. Mm-hmm. So you've got the two. Again, we know what Scherzer and Verlander can be when healthy, but again, it's always a when healthy thing with those two. Who's the next best guy? David Peterson? You know what I'm saying? Like, not counting Senga, obviously. Like, Senga, I think is going to be good. But I don't know. I think the Mets are the Mets, and they're already kind of banged up.
I don't even think their offense, I don't think their lineup's even as good as people think it is. Like, I don't know where to love for. Let's just run it through. Yeah. Brandon Nimmo, Starling Marte, Francisco Lindor.
Nimmo kills us.
Did Nimmo get hurt? Who got hurt?
He did get hurt in spring training.
Nimmo. He did. Okay, that was Nimmo, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So Nimmo, Marte, Lindor, Alonso, McNeil. All right, no gripes there. Right. Then you start talking
Kana,
Vogelback, Escobar, and Omar Narvaez, who I don't even.
They got Vogelback.
What I didn't understand.
I don't even know who that is.
It's their catcher.
So no, I know he's a catcher, but I just like my point is like
coming up on Saturday.
That scares you? Like that lineup scares you? I mean, like 1 through 5, very good. Nobody's going to debate that. Yeah. After the 5 hole, they got a lot of guys that better hit. Then you got a lot of guys that aren't expected to hit that better hit. So after the 5 hole, after McNeil.
Yep. And I know it was just the WBC, but I hope it continues. But Alonso, I think, is completely overrated.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And thankfully, he looked like trash at WBC. Hopefully, he continues that and looks like trash all year. But you're right, though. After 5, and you could really even slim that down to 3, 4, 5, really, because Marte's another year older. Really good, but, another year older. Nimmo's coming off an injury in spring training. Really, their crux of their lineup is Lindor, Alonso, McNeil.
Well, the thing I didn't understand either, and again, like they can still bring them up later in the season, but what I found intriguing about them is because they had 2 or 3 really exciting prospects that they could just put right into this veteran-led lineup. They didn't, like their catching prospect, they don't even have on the damn team. You know what I'm saying? Vogelback is not. Down. Yeah, like Vogelback should not be playing. I he's like a meme to me. You know what I'm saying? Like he's fun to watch just because if you look at the guy, it's like, oh, okay, that's fun.
It's a truck.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? He's an absolute unit. But to me, I don't understand really what they're doing because it was like, oh, okay, we can use the influx of high upside prospects to kind of just put at the bottom of the lineup and just kind of ease them in, but none of them made the team.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a massive
Beatty didn't make the team for Suarez or Sanchez or whoever's playing third. Mm-hmm. Beatty and Francisco Alvarez were their two stud prospects, and neither of them made the team. So
no.
and you're trying to win. I mean, so I get it. But I mean, if you compare their lineup to the Braves, I mean, it's a joke. It's a joke. They're like, if it's a 2-horse race. I'm just gonna be honest with the people. It's a 2-horse race. The Mets are that third team looking to fight their way into the wild card, which I do believe they'll get to, and we'll talk about all that in a minute. But to me, it's a 2-team race because when you break down the Braves lineup, it is goddamn scary. I mean, it's it. You talk about Acuna,
it is flat out disgusting.
Acuna, Olsen, Riley, Ozuna, Harris, Albies, Murphy. Murphy's whatever. He can lose a couple baseballs though. Eddie Rosario, Orlando Arcia. So I mean, their lineup is deeper.
And same thing with the Mets though. They're starting Arcia at short instead of Grissom, and I think it's more offensively than defensively with Grissom. Grissom was so highly touted and played really well last year.
And let's not act like the Dansby Swanson isn't going to hurt them either.
Oh, for sure.
Like this hurt us. Why
they probably got like a shortstop down there that's probably ready to go.
I don't know, brother. Why?
Maybe somebody was trying to tag DeGrom. I don't know. I don't know,
Jacob.
Yeah.
I don't know why you'd be tagged in this, but welcome.
Yeah.
Welcome anyway. I don't know what happened. Yeah. Maybe one of your friends tagged you. But when you look at this division, boys, and you break it down, and remember where Bill's wrong at, which is typical for Bill. But what Bill's wrong at is if there's a year to change up like who you play and how many times, it's right now and it's this year. You don't play your division as much.
Yep.
So if there's a year to do it when the NL East is loaded, tis the season, tis the year. Thank you. So that's where I disagree with you, Bill, on the 87.
We lose 6 games each, right?
Yep.
We only play them 13 instead of 19 times.
It's a lot.
Yeah, that's huge.
It's a lot.
Well, they cut back on division games?
Yeah, because now you play everybody in the league.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Which is awesome.
I love it.
I mean, the Rangers are a tomato can outside of the Grom throwing, and and they got some good bats, obviously.
Yeah,
right?
They spent a lot of money recently, though, too. I mean,
no, they have.
It's just a matter for them if they can put it together finally.
Look, if he stays healthy, they're going to be good, right? So our NL East rankings are records for all NL East teams.
Tommy, before you go there, I didn't think Frank answered the poll.
I did not answer the poll.
I think
Ralphie jumped me.
Wow.
A Saturday show and wardrobe changes.
Wardrobe changes and talk about absolute units in the background. I mean, we're all good here.
Sorry, Frank. Sorry.
Okay.
Sorry.
So last season, under Rob Thompson, the Phillies played .586 ball. Of course, Thompson did not manage 162 games. Under that projection, with .586 ball, that gives us 95 wins.
Jesus,
if we did play
the advanced stats. Jesus.
I like to hear that.
Yeah.
Does he have the same? Does that same mojo happen again, Frank?
And
right.
And that's the thing too. Can that carry over into this season? I know we lost Reese. We're not going to have Bryce until
June.
At June, we'll say June. I think it's going to be a little bit of a bumpy start. A little bit, not a disastrous start, but a bit of a bumpy start to the season. And with that, I'm going to disagree. I think it's going to be that bumpy start to the season. While I think we will be close to 90, I don't think we're going to get to 90. We're still going to be in the race for the Mets. They're really good. The Mets are probably going to be a World Series favorite. The Braves also favorite. Phillies, they're still in the mix, but I think there's going to be some challenges for the Phillies. For that first couple months, I think it might hurt us down the line. But for me, I'm going to disagree to the poll. And I also got to say this: Trey is a fantastic shortstop, and he belongs to the Phillies. That's all I got to say.
Man, what a curveball you just threw there. I mean, you hit us with some advanced analytic stats, 586, 95 games, and then you go in and disagree. What a buzzkill. Maybe we should have just skipped you.
Frank, while you're on the advanced analytics kick, can you find me the record that we were sitting at when Joe Girardi got fired? I believe it was 22-29.
Yeah, I think we were like 7 or 8 games underneath 500.
Because my question is, if we believe, and again, who knows? Nobody has a crystal ball. If we believe that we are going to have a bumpy start.
It was, in fact, 22-29.
Is it going to be somehow worse than that start? And again, we have to factor in, as much as everybody talks about how bad the first half of the season is, we also have to calculate how for the first 2.5 weeks of September, it was a disaster. It was not good. It was the usual Phillies September of the last 4, 5, 6 years. It was not good in Philadelphia. The reason why I am so adamant on the agree, and again, who the hell knows, right, is that not only are we better in almost every position group when you talk about the rotation, the bullpen, and the offense, obviously, but I think your depth has the potential to be better, and this is just the way you're sitting right now, not even considering, the prospects that you can get later in the season, and then obviously what you do around the deadline, because you have ownership in the GM who's going to be aggressive now, not if we do, we do, we don't, with the McPhail organization years ago. I think that you have that ability to where, hey, you had too many disasters in September. You had a full-on disaster to get a coach fired. That's why I'm like, well, things are going to go wrong, but all that went wrong, and you still got to 87. We're not 3 wins better?
No, I mean, I think you're spot on with a lot of things, and I think the big thing about September I'll bring up that you brought up, our struggles in September. I don't want to say it goes away, but I played a lot of baseball. Grace played a lot of baseball in her life. Ralphie's played a lot of baseball. I think when you're, and this is factual, when you're a calm and confident player, it's going to show. When you're a calm and confident baseball team, it's going to show. I would say the last 2 years, obviously we snuck our way in this year, but your butthole gets real goddamn tight when you haven't been there as an organization in a while. You're expected to be there, and September rolls around again, right? Mm-hmm. And you lose some games like against Chicago that you shouldn't lose. I mean, that butthole gets so clenchy that it becomes hard to just let loose and go, right? And that's not an excuse. It's segueing into this year where I don't want to say the pressure isn't there, because of course it is. Expectation has now gone up when you go to a World Series.
Yep.
But I think the confidence in this locker room, the confidence in each other, the confidence in up top, the confidence in your manager, I think that this buttholes are wide open now. Open and not open for business, but buttholes in the locker room are wide open. Guys are looser. That's just baseball 101, I would think, right? Now, to the slow starts, I don't think they're going to play 22 and 29 baseball. I mean, when I look at the rotation, when I look at this lineup, when I look at this bullpen, I don't see it. Anything's possible. If you want to tell me they're 500 at the same time, sure, I'll play that game with you, but that still projects. Now, are you going to get that hot again? So, I don't know when that's going to happen. It could happen in April. It could happen in May that they get hot as a pistol. At some point this year, they're going to go on a run. Mm-hmm. And I don't think it necessarily – I think the opposite. I think if they're going to go on a run, it almost comes pre-Harper, because what happens is when you get a guy back like that, you almost you feel like you can let off the gas because your carrier's back. Mm-hmm. And sometimes what happens is he's got to work his way back in, so he's not that hot right now. So we'll see.
I'll throw this in here real quick too before we go to the rankings. Again, we were missing Harper for a large chunk of last season, but and again, I'm not trying to say that this player that I'm about to mention or I'm alluding to is as important as Rhys Hoskins, but he was pretty damn important. Who was the other player that we were also missing for a large portion of the first half of the season? We didn't get him back until right around Harper got back last year. Pretty damn important. Gene Segura. We went through a large stretch of last season without Gene. So again, what we constantly talk about, again, we're going to be due for a lot of trials and tribulations with health early in the year. Just don't, and not to us, because we've talked about it a lot, but I think a lot of fans out there, or maybe even some analysts, when talking about the over and unders and how we would rank, exactly who makes the playoffs and who doesn't. I think the illusion is that the Phillies, they were a World Series team last year, therefore it was really good. No, it really wasn't. It really wasn't. Anything that could have gone wrong pretty much went wrong. So we didn't act like a World Series team for a majority, if not any. There was a 3-week stretch where we were the hottest team in baseball. But other than that, it was anything but. So it's not like it was peaches and cream last year. That's all I'm saying. And we got to where we wanted to get to, and we were just shy of 87. Or I'm sorry, we were just shy of 90, which is the poll.
Yeah. No, and Tommy, you're spot on about playing loose and playing, relatively stress-free. And when they did that, that was obviously the best they did. That was in the playoffs, right? That team was loose. That team was playing, stress-free, really good fundamental baseball. And that's what also comes to your point.
And who
that's
was missing?
Also, what's that?
And who was missing
in the playoffs?
No. Like the stress-free baseball when they went on their tear in the regular season. Who was missing?
Oh, that was when Bryce was out.
Because your expectations go down.
Yeah.
So like
other guys put it upon themselves to try and do more and step up, and that's when JT arguably put his name into the MVP race.
Yep.
Was during that stretch because JT was on fire, almost batting 400 during that stretch that Bryce was out.
Because don't forget, he was downright brutal.
JT,
the first 2.5 months of the season, like almost arguably tradable. It's that bad. Where it's like, dude, this isn't the best catcher in baseball, and people crushed me over it because I was keeping it real. Like, I'm not telling you can't get hot at a point, but that's a bad product, babe. Like what I mean? What you were showing us wasn't the best catcher in baseball. But this is where the give and take need to come from the organization on give and off date, whatever. We get all that at a different point. But division rankings, I think the Phillies win it. I think the Phillies should win it. I'll say the Phillies win. I'll go 93, I guess. I'm just throwing a number out. You know what I mean? 93 for the Phillies. Let's say 91. We'll go 91 for the Braves. Go 88 for the Mets. Where it gets a little tricky.
What was the Phillies over under again?
8.5.
And in Vegas.
Oh, what site was that for?
That was in Vegas, the overall Vegas odds, Ralphie, it's 89.5.
I'll say Miami's about 500.
Okay.
I think they're better. They have the best pitcher in baseball, so they'll be better. And Washington, whatever, you throw them 25 fucking wins. But I mean, whatever. They're like
Washington this year is let the young kids play.
Yeah, they're
let them play.
Like a 65 win team, right? I mean,
typical Washington baseball.
Does Strasburg play? Is Strasburg still under contract there?
Who is that? Who is
he? He is.
What a fall off the cliff, huh?
Does he play? Yeah. Do we see him at all this year?
He shows up and then he disappears in September.
I would think. So that's what I got. I got the Eagles. Jesus, got a long season. Got the Phillies. Got the Phillies winning the division at 93. I'm not going to get crazy and start talking 97 and close to a honey cut. But 93 is a good number.
I'll go.
Is out to the end of May.
That sounds about right. With what? Yeah. How did he get hurt? He hasn't played in like 3 years. With what?
Ribs.
His kitty cat touched him.
Ribs. What was he freaking walking?
Probably.
I haven't seen him. I don't think I've seen him play since the World Series.
He hasn't. I mean, he may pitch a few innings last year. I just don't remember it. You know what I mean? But he hasn't, right, to your point.
I keep forgetting he's still on the team.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, wait, Steven Strasburg is a person.
But in defense of him, even though he's had a, in my opinion, a lackluster career for the most part because of his injuries, the pick, the signing, all that stuff, got them and won them a world championship. So
you know why I asked, right? You know why I asked. You know where my mind goes.
He made one start last year.
Yeah. I'm like, can we get him in for third starter? Can we do that? Like that's where my mind goes.
I mean, I would throw a flyer on him, but I don't know what the hell they think they're going to get for him. That's the problem.
Yeah, they're bad.
If I'm them, I want out of the money. If I'm them, get me out of the money. I'm starting over. But did they trade him in the division? I don't.
Yeah. I don't think that organization has any morals. I think it's kind of like, oh, you want a player that's way too talented for our organization? Okay.
Well, who's the GM? Isn't it Rizzo still?
It was. I don't know if did they sell the team.
I want to say he stepped down or something.
No, I think it is still Rizzo, but they're all talking about
Rizzo.
Yeah, he's a good GM. I mean, if there's a guy in there that I think can change what they're doing, it's probably a guy like him. He put together a great roster to win it all. But guess what? I mean, listen, I'll throw a flyer at any arm that has high upside at this point.
So, since he made 33 starts in 2019, he made 2 in 2020, 5 in 21, and 1 last year in 22 for 4 2/3 of an inning.
Yeah, I'll give you $5.
How did he get hurt? How did he get hurt last year?
I don't want to. I don't want to.
He woke up.
Yeah, I don't want to get his. I don't want to get his ban.
Oh my god!
I'm trying not to get his ban. I can't even talk. Go ahead, please.
I'll go rapid fire for me. I've got the Braves at 95. I've got us at 92. I've got the Mets at 88. I've got Miami. I'll give them 77, and Washington. I'll give them 60 because I'm feeling generous.
Yeah, I can't disagree with the Braves. The only thing I think the Braves may lack a little bit that could hurt them is I don't know how much I trust the back end of their pen. I got to look at it, but I believe it's still Kenley Jansen back there, who's 90. I don't know what else they have back there. Their rotation could be gross, and their lineup could be gross. But I think if you look at what's their weakness, I'd probably say their bullpen. That doesn't mean it's a huge weakness, but looking for a weakness is probably it. When you look for the Phillies' weakness, where is it? 4th, 5th starter, maybe? Yeah. Which is most teams' weaknesses.
Honestly, you know what the biggest weakness is? Because I think this guy has the potential to be such a difference maker for them if he pops like he did, in the second half of the year in the playoffs. I think their biggest weakness is the health of Ranger Suarez. Because if Ranger Suarez is healthy and he's Ranger, I mean, I'm not saying that he's like an ace, but if you have him at his potential, at his, as good as he is, as your number 3, followed by just somebody who's durable, is going to eat a lot of innings, and Walker behind him, and then obviously you get exactly what is advertised from the top 2 guys. That's really underrated. That's really freaking. I mean, Ranger was special second half of the year. I don't have to tell you guys that.
Yeah, no, he's really good.
Tom, to your point with the Braves, real quick, they've got a.
Kenley's on Boston. Huh?
Yeah, I didn't realize that.
They have somebody. They have somebody
Makes
at closer that they signed or they traded for. I'm like, ooh, that was a good move. I forget who it is though. Atlanta.
AJ Minter, he was there with them.
I don't know if it was
they traded for Joe Jimenez from Detroit. The other free agent, Nick Anderson, Lucas Ludich.
No, maybe I'm wrong.
Michael Tonkin, like nothing crazy. They're probably their best trade was Jimenez, I guess, is their best trade. I mean, they don't even have a 5th starter listed right now.
Well, they're banged up. That's what I was going to say, to where they're kind of in the same boat with us, to where they've just got to survive the first little bit because they've got injuries, because Kyle Wright and Soroka are both out with injuries. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So they're banged up in in their rotation a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like AJ Minter is probably their closer.
Well, yeah, I mean, they have Iglesias here, but he's listed as out.
Yeah, Iglesias.
To your point, then he's. You're right, Tom, and then it goes to Minter.
Was it a prospect?
Yeah, like
do they have like a prospect
McHugh,
that's like really
doing Kirby Yates, all good arms, but nothing like overpowering.
Maybe it's a prospect I was thinking of that they have like in their pen or something.
Who, the
I mean, they have
Braves?
they have like 50 guys in their friggin' farm system that are loaded. Braves, Bill's got Braves 94, Mets 90, Phil's 87. Bill,
I think that's egregious.
Didn't you just have him at 88?
I just think
are we going down?
I think it's stupid. Like, if you really look at take off the homer hat for 5 seconds here. Like, I gave the Braves a ton of credit. I said it was a 2-team race. I think, Bill, if you're smart, you get the Mets the hell out of it. What have they proven to you? They just got older. That's all they did. They got older. You're telling me, like, okay, yes, if Verlander's healthy, if Verlander and DeGrom are both healthy, it ain't a question. It ain't, and I got a lot of respect for Justin Verlander, but let's keep this 100. It ain't that close if DeGrom's healthy. I mean, DeGrom is downright unhittable when he's healthy.
I know he's down in Texas too. He's in Texas.
They just got older. I just don't. They lose the best closer in baseball, and people think they're better than the Phillies. Like, I don't know. People need to buy some damn clues around here. Like, if you want to tell me the Braves are better, fine. Fine. I can't really dive into it, but the Phillies are better than the Mets. And I can make a legit argument with our bullpen, etc. Look, just look how deep our pen is.
Might be our strength of their team, which is disgusting to say. Now, I'd still probably lean just their overall lineup as their strength, but for the first time in a long time, not a weakness, our bullpen. And if anybody's pro Mets or think that they're like, Samuel says the Mets are dangerous, if you have them winning the division, right, you need two things to happen outside of, the obvious where Verlander and Scherzer are as advertised. Because again, like we were talking about difference makers from last year. You need Lindor to pop and you need Senga to pop. And obviously they can make a trade or something, but those are like your two like needle mover type guys to me. And that could happen, right? Like two high potential guys, but I don't know. I'll lean on our end for a little bit until I see otherwise.
Yeah, I mean the Mets were definitely improved last year because Lindor was better than his first year there, right?
Yeah,
there's
no
sucked
his first year.
Yeah, there's no hiding that. But no, I agree. There's definitely holes in their lineup as well. Wow, 95 wins. This coming from a guy that wants to put Trey Turner at second base. Oh my God.
Yeah, I don't know where to.
Both teams win 95.
Listen, I don't see where people think the Mets are winning 95 games.
Smokes.
No.
I got Phillies at 92, Braves at 90, Mets at 85.
Ooh, we're going down. Okay, I like it.
Marlins at 78, and the Nationals 60.
Can I ask you guys a question? Why does Vegas doesn't matter in this? Are you kidding me? How does Vegas odds matter in this? If you go back and just look at odds before the season and then see how the season ends up, it doesn't always. It's not by the book. Like it's not like, well, this is a lot because Vegas agrees. What do I care about Vegas? I know I forgot more about baseball than Vegas knows, Bill. That's not a shot. It's what I do. It's what I call home, and it doesn't mean I'm right. It just means like I don't care what Vegas thinks. I don't care because you can't just lose Edwin Diaz and think, oh, nothing to see here. Get the fuck out of here. Get out of here. Get out of town. And I talk to Mets fans who just poo-poo it and push it to the side like it doesn't matter. Like they're delirious. They're delirious to think that isn't a gigantic and monumental loss for that baseball team. Who can't close anyway? Who can't shut the door anyway? They called up a division last year. You tell me who's going to sit here and tell me they got better this year? Miss me with the Mets got better because they went out and spent money on Verlander, all right? On Verlander, and they lost the best closer in baseball. So how did they get better?
Ralphie, they can't play the horn either, Ralphie. No horn this year.
How? How is they? Greg, I need you, Greg. How did they get better?
I can't tell you. They didn't sign Correa. You could sell me on if you signed Correa.
They did, and then they did.
Well, they did, but they didn't approve them, right? I mean, you can sell that if you sign Correa.
I think the whole league signed Correa.
And that infield is
we might have had him for
how did I talk about the Mets as the Nationals? I said 89 wins. And what and I said probably the third team in, right? Right?
Yeah.
Did I not say that? Yeah. So where is that shitting on them? I don't think they're at the level of the Phillies and the Braves. And I said to you, you can make the case that the Braves are better, and I will not sit here and debate a two-win differential with you. Make sense? But I will debate that the Mets are better than the Phillies. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. I don't care their owner. Their owner don't play.
Remember when Dominic Smith was supposed to be like the next Barry Bonds for them? Remember that?
Yep.
Yeah.
Night.
All right, who's up? Who's up?
Ralphie, you want to go? Ralphie?
No, Frank, you can go. Keep on going.
Well, we did this before, and
we did this before. Yeah, stuff happened. Madness happened.
Go ahead, Frank.
You're sure you don't want to go, Ralph?
Just go, Frank, please.
All right.
He's eating a candy bar. You see him chilling. Give him.
Got some airheads, man.
Let's go 5 through 1. I want to go backwards. I'm going to go. Of course I do. Let's see. Go number 5. I'm going to go with the Nats. They're going to go. I have them at 64. Miami at 4th place with 78. 3, the Phils at 87. 2, the Braves at 91, and the Mets at 96.
You're the Mets winning the division?
I have the Mets winning the division.
Well, this is awkward.
Round 4.
Well, this is now I know why he wanted you to go, Ralph.
Yeah.
Are you sure you don't
I'm
want to
out
go,
of
Ralph?
the doghouse. I am out of the doghouse.
Well, I know. I mean, that just tells you everything you need to know, Bill. You know what I mean? I mean,
96 wins.
just to understand who you're sitting with, Bill. You know, you and Frank on an island at 96
Frank,
with the
how
Mets.
much did the Mets pay you for that, bro?
None.
You have a Mets jersey you're going to change it to in a second, aren't
Yeah.
Oh, hell no.
You got a strawberry jersey sitting right next to you, don't
you?
you?
Oh, yeah.
No.
There's a few crumbs underneath that strawberry.
The only thing related to the Mets that I own was when the AAA affiliate was in Las Vegas. That's my only connection to the Mets. But other than that, none.
Swoop, would you stop it, Swoop? Would you goddamn stop it? Would you stop it?
Didn't Trey Turner win a Gold Glove at short?
And
I
he's
mean,
a
would you
fantastic
stop it,
shortstop.
dude?
Turner's like a
Would you
top-
stop it?
top
Pretty
5 player
sure,
in
right?
baseball, and we're
I might
going
be
to
wrong.
change his. We're going to change his position.
You went about his arm, Ryan. Swoop. Come on, man. I mean, it's agree to disagree radio. Everybody's allowed to have an opinion. It's not like the classroom where every question is a good question. You know what I mean? It's not like whatever you say, it's a good question. Ask whatever you want. No, sometimes it makes you sound stupid. And with all respect in the world, it makes you sound dumb when you're talking about one of the best shortstops in baseball. You want to talk about moving to second base.
Dude,
So you're going to sign a
thought-
second baseman? We're signing second basemen for 10-year deals? That's what we're doing?
300 million?
No. Second basemen don't get that money. Ask Ozzy Albies. They don't get that money.
Andres Jimenez from the Cleveland just signed the biggest deal for a second baseman. It was 125 or something
Yeah,
like
I think ever.
that. Yeah.
In a world where we're trying to figure out who is playing like different other
I
positions.
thought he
like
won a
who's our
Gold
first
Glove. I
baseman.
apologize for that. I thought he won. He didn't win a Gold Glove.
Maybe this year though, Ralph. Maybe this year.
Doesn't matter if he did or didn't. He's a shortstop.
Yeah, we don't need to change his position. We don't need to worry about that.
All right, Bill. You had the okay. I'm not doing this with you tonight. I love you, so I'm not doing it. You know, ride the Mets until they collapse on your lap.
Mortgage on the Mets. Mortgage
Is
on
Bill
the
a
Mets.
Red Sox guy? I just
Yeah.
he's Red Sox.
Probably.
Okay.
How's Trevor's story?
I like Yoshida, Bill. I think he's going to be fun.
They signed Devers back, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they did.
Devers is one of my favorite players. So
He should.
Bill, I'm like a quiet closet Red Sox guy because Manny was one of my favorite players of all time. So, who's your friend? Right, Swoop. Who's your friend? Because I feel like your friend should punch himself in the face. Where's the video? Send me the video, Swoopy, of all the bad throws by Trey Turner. I need video evidence of the million Trey Turner bad throws that we gotta have this conversation right now. And I like
David Eckstein. David Eckstein played shortstop for the Cardinals for like 10 years. So miss me with bad arms.
Yeah, and Bryson Stott is Mr. like great arm.
I love Bryson, but he's nowhere near Trey.
I do. I mean, I love guys with opinions. Sometimes you gotta allow the baseball guys to talk. All right, Swoopy and Bill. Sometimes you gotta just defer.
I'm trying to sign.
I love how you threw Bill in there.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep sprinkling Bill in. This is trigger him. He'll sink it tonight to us 55 times.
Look, Sweeps came in because you said the Cardinals.
No, there's no shot, Sweeps. No shot. I'm just saying. Just enough, right? What is that his nickname? Just enough? I love David Eckstein.
Sweeps heard Cardinals from the clouds and he had to log in.
Besides Ralph and Frank, we know where they stand. Do you guys disagree that this is a 2-horse race in this division? With the Mets as that third team that could, but it's really a Braves Phillies race here. On paper.
Because 100% the loss of Edwin Diaz means almost overshadows the signing of Verlander. Right? If Verlander's healthy and Edwin Diaz is healthy, then it is a 100% 3-horse race. But you lose the best closer, $100 million closer, you can't replicate that.
I told you guys.
You
we
can't.
know that.
Well, yeah, like you said,
Tonight,
right?
I finally
David
don't
Robertson
disagree.
and Adam Ottavino going to do it?
I mean, they can believe they're going to do it, but there's a reason that the guy got $100 million because the last 3 are the toughest 3 outs to get in baseball. Last 6, last 9, they're tough. That's why you need a great bullpen. That's a huge loss. That's more impactful than us missing Bryce for 60 games and Reese for a whole season. I'm just going to be real, and I'm a Phillies fan, right? But that's more impactful than those two guys combined.
Especially because, like we said before, we've done it. We've seen what this team does with less when you don't have Harper. You're going to now be dealing the time without Harper with freaking Trey Turner, for God's sakes.
Yeah, pretty good addition by subtraction.
Yeah.
I mean, Derek Cole probably stinks. Like, just to be real, Derek Cole probably stinks. I know, like, a bunch of guys that freaking put baby powder between their legs are going to tell you how he's going to hit 30.
There's one person that can say
maybe 40, right? That's what we hear.
His name is
John's never been right about a thing in his life either. So
is Joey Votto.
Worry about selling hats.
Joey Votto.
Bring Joey Votto to the Phillies. Let's go, baby.
Joey hasn't hit a freaking beach ball all last year. So,
Ralphie, I think Pache has a better on-base percentage.
I know, right?
And Pache is stinks.
Crazy, man. It's crazy.
All right, go through your rankings, boys.
All right, first for me, Atlanta at 93 wins the division. Phillies at 89, they come in second. Mets at 87. Miami, because I like Jazz, I'll go 77. And Washington with a whopping 50.
I saw the
Jazz playing.
You had Mets. You had Mets second for a second. I saw you pause there I saw it in your eyes. You had the Mets over the Phillies. I guarantee you
it would be tonight.
I guarantee you on that sheet you just read off of, you have the Mets in second, Phillies third. I saw you pause.
Maybe.
Don't you lie to me.
I cannot agree or deny on that statement.
Yeah, you can't confirm or deny.
Yeah, same thing.
Is the statement.
Same thing.
All right.
Noah, what's your standings for this year?
That's right. You segue to Noah.
Here we go, fellas.
Okay.
All right. Can the first statement be are the Phillies winning more than triple digits? Are they winning triple digits? That's my first question to you before I go on. Okay. Carry on.
What's your ranking, Noah, with your records?
For fun, I got the Phillies winning the division, winning 97 games.
Jesus fucking Christ, we're doing this.
That's why I went disagree tonight.
I thought he was going to go 99, so he wasn't going triple digits.
I thought so too.
This is going to be a 99 spot.
I got them winning 97 games. So they're winning the division. I got the Atlanta Braves winning 94 games.
And I'm going to go piss.
Don't fall.
Don't fall in. I got the Mets.
Dry. I'm going to go flush myself in the Delaware right now if they're 97 over there.
Probably cleaner.
Yeah, when you get back, it'll be 98, Tom.
I got the Mets winning 90 games and finishing in third place.
Okay.
I got the Marlins. Winning 81.
Oh my God.
And I got the Nationals winning 70 games. So with that said,
I don't know if there's enough wins.
Relatively speaking,
might make the playoffs.
Well, relatively speaking, aside from the Nationals, I think all four teams, at least into September, will be in a playoff race. Meaning, I think the Marlins may be hanging in there for the wild card up until the final few weeks of the season.
With Jazz
playing center field.
I know, weird, right?
Mess.
Yeah,
you got Joey Wendell playing shortstop.
Yeah,
there goes any chance of hanging in on the wild card. Yeah. Sorry, buddy.
He'll be on the Yankees by friggin' July.
Joey Wendell, the hometown kid.
This is what they do. This is what they do, though, guys. The Marlins get a star player, and then it's like, oh, we're gonna keep him, and then they trade him to a top market team like 5 months later.
When they had Stan.
Well, you'll love this. I got the Phillies, the Braves, and the Mets all making the postseason.
Yeah, Tommy had that. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think that's outrageous. The 97 wins is outrageous.
Sweeps gives his official, non-official prediction. Phillies 145-17, but finished second to the Mets in the division. Crazy year.
I'm curious where the 17 losses come from.
Can't win them all, Frankie.
They start 0-17, Frank.
Ah, that makes sense. Plenty of sense.
Starts game 1 with Nola on the mound. I just can't wait for overreaction to happen.
I want to read you guys this before Tom comes back, and then obviously Tom can react to it also before we go to our next topic. I had what I would do for their starting lineup, and this is obviously without Bryce. Like, there's no point in us. I mean, I guess if we really want to get crazy, we could say like what it would look like with Bryce, but it's just so far down the line. We're kind of worried about like right now. Tell me if you guys agree with this. Okay, we'll go one by one. We all agree Turner leading off. Like, can we like for the fan base? Can we be done with like the Schwarber? Like, it's Turner, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, Turner leads off.
Okay.
100%.
Now
Schwarber's my number 2.
Okay, so you would go Schwarber.
Schwarber's my number 2.
I go Alec Baum, personally. I think the hit for contact guy, on base guy, I think that would really work. But there's other options out there. Greg, who would you go with second?
Schwarber.
You would go Schwarber? Okay. Noah?
I like your idea, Ryan, but I got to go Schwarber there.
Here's the thought process, Ryan, is obviously you have Turner on base, right? No more shifts. So that opens up a wide hole at between second and first.
Okay.
And then with that, they have to pay attention to Turner.
True.
So leaves the second baseman, or you know what I mean, leaves second base a little bit more wide open for Turner to swipe it. Then what are they going to do? Walk Schwarber once he swipes it? Now you got 2 guys on with no outs?
I mean, you can do that.
Okay,
I mean, you can.
Right, please do. And then you roll into JT.
Nick, I also had, or Nikki, I also thought about putting JT second.
Yeah, I mean, definitely option, but I put Schwarber there.
I had JT 3.
You put a ball in that corner, Turner might score. You know what I mean? From the right field corner, Turner might score.
True.
From first.
I had
get worse, you have second, third.
I had JT 3.
Mm-hmm.
We all agree with that? Ralphie, Frank?
Yeah, JT 3.
Okay. Yeah. And again, in my thing, I had Schwarber 4. So you guys have Schwarber second. So who would you put 4?
Castellanos is 4 for me.
Castellanos.
Bounce back year from Nicky C this year, baby. Bounce back year. There's no way he's producing what he did last year again this year. There's no shot. No shot.
See, I knew my 97 wins came from somewhere. There you go.
No shot. Give me Nicky in the 4.
I think he's going to have a bounce back, but you don't think that they would want to kind of not make him earn it because the contract kind of earns him the 4th spot because that's why he was brought in here. I don't know. I had Castellanos 5th.
But again, you got to also remember too, you're missing 2 of your guys right off the bat.
Sure.
You're missing Harper and you're missing Hoskins. You know what I mean? So you got to adjust a little.
I got to have you load
that.
at some point. You know what I mean?
Right.
Okay, so then we have Castellanos 4. I had Castellanos 5th. So who are you putting 5th? Bohm.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll put Alec at 5.
I'm fine with that.
Derek Hall at 6.
All right, Ralphie's going Hall. Anybody disagree with that?
I mean, no. I mean, there is a thought to put Hall 5, Bohm 6, just to, go right, left, right. But I wouldn't.
I don't like that. No,
I don't either.
I like the original one.
I want Bohm to protect Nick.
I completely agree. So then you put Hall 6. I'm guessing Stott 7.
Yeah, Stott 7. Or you could,
I know what Greg's trying to do.
Greg, you could throw Stott at 9, and it's basically a leadoff hitter.
I was going to say, Greg, are you trying to piggyback him
and try and pair him with
it's a great thought. Great point. You can do the same thing with Marsh, though. You do the same thing with Marsh.
At 9. Yeah,
Marsh at 9.
Yes.
You go Stott, left field, Marsh.
Who's 8?
Left field.
Or your DH.
Or DH, depending on where Schwarber is, right? I'm assuming Schwarber's DHing.
Who are you leaning towards with DH? Who would you? Is it Harrison, or Cave? I guess those would be the two leading guys, right? Because they're not going to go Stubbs.
None of the above.
Wow, yeah,
I think with that's one of their in my thought that's one of their quote unquote weaknesses right now.
Sure.
Is that left field DH if depending on where Schwarber is, right? Mm-hmm. Schwarber's playing left field, then obviously you're lacking a little bit at the DH spot, right? Because he's going to be Guthrie, Harrison, Cave, right? You know what I mean? Because you're right, you're not going Stubbs because you don't want both catchers in the game, right? So he's out.
Would they go?
Isn't Stubbs still dinged up?
Possibly. Stubbs is he caught the last game.
Yeah, he's fine.
The other day he caught like yesterday or something.
Who do you think
is a possibility? But again, I think they'd rather have Sosa be able to come off the bench to play defense if they need to.
I'm guessing we're gonna see more Harrison than Cave.
Well, yeah, I mean you got Stubbs. Pache's got to be on the team because he's out of options.
Yeah.
So he might take Guthrie's spot. So it might be Stubbs, Harrison, Sosa, Cave, and Pache as opposed to Guthrie.
And then we got Marsh 9. So you got Turner, Schwarber, Real Muto, Cassidy, Bohm, Hallstatt, Harrison, Marsh. And again, you can fill in Harrison with any of the.
But to your point, 2 through 5 is interchangeable.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like you could go whatever, right? If you would have put Alec at 2, I understand it. I see it, right? Kind of like when we had Reese at 2, right? You know what I mean? Stuff like that. Yeah. So I think 2 through 5 is interchangeable. So like for in your thought process, you didn't have Schwarber 2. Like it's not like it's outlandish, and it's probably won't happen, right? Mm-hmm. We know Robbie likes to mix up the lineup at times. You know what I mean? But I think the one spot that is 100% locked down should be and is the leadoff hole,
which is ironic because that was the only position last year that we never knew.
Yeah,
we had no idea. Even in the World Series, we're like, maybe Stott leads off. It's like it's the World freaking Series.
I do think Stott potentially before you signed Turner to 10 years. I did think Stott, had the at-bats.
Me too.
From a rookie season to potentially at some point in his career, potentially bat leadoff. But obviously, there's no shot over Turner.
I think he's got a future at maybe, I don't want to say just second, but he battles, right? Like he doesn't battle. He
does. Like I want to see. He has a really, really good at-bats last year. And then there was some that made you scratch your head and go, "What is this guy really a major leaguer?" Right?
Because I really like the dynamic of having somebody like Stott who battles, with Turner on the base pads with the pitch clock.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Where it's kind of like we have no idea what's going on. The pitcher's got to focus on 7 things at once.
Yeah.
Joseph,
I'm really interested to see his development because he's got the mindset. They said right before they signed Turner. Robbie went up to him and asked him kind of where he wanted to play, all right, second or third or whatever, and he said majors, meaning he'll do whatever he needs to do. He'll play wherever he needs to play in order to stick around and be on the team. So it kind of shows what type of kid he is, and I want to see what the strides he takes offensively. Again, going into a year where he knows he's going to play every day, and I think that's where he took off last year. Is once he got those regular bats and once he got those feeling where he didn't have to go 4 for 4 every game or he was going to get benched.
Yeah, once he already got fired.
Pretty much. Yeah. He could go in and as Tommy said earlier, he could play loose, right? He didn't have to play with a tight butthole all the time.
Who was the third baseman that was a former Yankee that Girardi always played last year? Not the short guy from 2 years ago. Third baseman.
Oh, Didi?
No. Didi was so bad. Girardi didn't even play Didi that much.
Oh my God.
Just like a journeyman.
His name.
You know what I'm talking about. Somebody's going to bring it up. A bigger guy. He's not the little guy from 2 years ago. Joseph.
Not Torreyes, right?
No. That was 2 years ago.
Okay. Ronald Torreyes?
Yeah, that was 2 years ago.
Who you're talking about?
It'll come up. I feel like his name began with a C. His last name began with a C. No, not Teray Swoopy. No, that's 2 years ago.
Oh.
Somebody just look up a roster sheet.
From
Joseph,
what
I'm not
years?
disagreeing with you. What?
From what years?
Last season. I just don't. I don't necessarily want to see Bohm go back and forth. It took him a little bit to finally get comfortable with third, and I think that he's shown, or at least second half of last year going to the playoffs, that he can handle third.
Johan Camargo.
Oh, Camargo. He was more of a brave. Not that I still wouldn't have guessed it. But yes, Camargo was hot early last year and played a lot. Yes. The interesting thing with
you guys hear me?
Now I got you, yeah.
Yeah, my mic tried to kick out there.
There was a second point where you were talking, I didn't hear.
I don't even know what I said, so it must not have been important.
There is a thought with Bohm, though. I know Girardi and staff had thoughts that Bohm was going to be an everyday first baseman in his future. Not sure how Dave and Robbie, assess that situation. But I'll tell you what, if they still do think that Bohm's future is at first base, well, there's no better time than just to bite the bullet, rip the Band-Aid off, and almost do it every day. Now, I know they're saying Hall's going to take a little bit, but you can always make that adjustment, right?
I think what they're going to do, I think they're going to give Hall a good enough sample size to prove that he's either deserving of the job or he just can't handle it, right?
Mm-hmm.
I almost don't think, again, I'm not saying I love it, but we talked about this last year during the season. Forget about just the preview show, about how this was going to happen at some point in the future. I think their backup plan, and again, tell me if you guys agree with this, is not putting Bohm at first. It's platooning Hall with JT Realmuto at first. Because we've talked about this, that is probably what he's going to eventually do if he stays in Philly.
Yeah, you're not wrong, right?
I don't love it.
This year, I think you're going to see a combination of four guys at first base, right? Schwarber, Hall, JT at times, and Alec at times.
You think they do the Castellanos thing?
No, you don't move Nick. You don't move Nick. There's too much moving around with Nick already, right? There was too much moving with Nick just from a short off season last year and whatnot. I leave Nick
on Nick Island.
Yeah, leave him. He played really well out in right field defensively.
Yeah, we won two playoff games because of him.
Yeah, the one thing I know Tommy's mentioned this a lot. The one thing we can say is Nick never took his offense to the defense, right? He played really well. He played really good defense for what we weren't sure what we were getting. I don't think it's JT. I just don't think you give JT $150 million and then 2 years into that you move him right away.
You call him best catcher in baseball, and that's as great as he was offensively in the second half of the season. You're kind of taking his biggest trait, and obviously, which is his defense.
Correct.
And you're removing it.
Yep. Now, is there going to be day games after a night game and double headers where you need to get him? You don't want to take his bat out of the lineup, especially early without Harper, that he plays first base? Sure. You know what I mean? Against a tough lefty where you don't want Hall in the lineup, right? And you want to put, get Stubbs a day, right? There's going to be those times, but you don't move him full time or even in a part-time platoon till he's absolutely knows that you can't catch anymore.
And
kind of like Joe Mauer.
And Sweeps chimes in on this. He says JT's still the best catcher in baseball, so you don't move him until that goes away. You maybe give him a spot start at first base, but you never platoon him there. Yeah. Again, Sweeps, I completely agree. I'm just worried. And again, this is what happens when obviously when you lose guys, as valuable as Rhys Hoskins and Bryce Harper, who's already not playing the field last year, and we didn't know what's going to happen even when he comes back. It's kind of like, I think they might be in a situation where everything's on the table, which sucks, right? But it's kind of like, oh, you're kind of skidding along mid-May. Derek Hall's struggling a little bit. It's kind of like, let's see how this goes for a couple of games. Again, I don't like it at all. I really don't like the Alec Bohm thing at all, at first, personally.
Yeah, I think they sort of said that, right? I mean, like the only guy who's gotten reps there is Nick. So Alec hasn't gotten reps there at all since the injury, like in practice, etc. The only guy outside of Derek Hall has been Nicky getting a little bit of them. And I agree with Sweeps. Like, I'm not moving JT besides moving him to DH and getting him off his feet that way. Doesn't mean I can't sprinkle him there, 5 games through the year, right? Whatever. But like, that's not going to be a move I'm ever doing yet, right? We can talk about that in like 2 years from now when the legs really give out, etc. But right now he's not moving. Alec's not moving. Listen, it's a Derek Hall job to lose. And if he loses it, I don't think they find that piece inside the organization. That's where they won't sit on their hands. That's where they'll get a deal done, and they'll get a veteran bat in here from the right side, because that's what they need. Like, the problem is, if Derek Hall was a righty, it would be a better situation. Now getting Turner gives you that right-handed power bat. You're hoping for a big jump from Alec in the right-handed power bat and Nick, right? You're hoping those guys supply it. But that was what Reese really brought to this ball club, and why he's such a big loss is that right-handed bat. But with Turner, like we talked about, right, it sort of lessens that blow a little bit. But yeah, that's where I stand on it. I mean, it's Derek Hall's job to lose. I mean, Nick made it clear in Detroit he wasn't going to move to first base. But now obviously more of a team guy and more of a winning culture per se, I guess, a little bit right in the second, even though that Detroit team was pretty good from what I remember. But whatever. I mean, it is what it is. But I think that's the way they go. I don't think it's an in-house move to fix that position if it's not getting done by Derek Hall.
And I don't want to say this in a good way, but there's good names and good options out there from the right-hand side that are in final years of deals and or just out there in the open anyway. That it probably wouldn't be hard to find that guy if we need to, Tommy, like to your point.
Yeah, Derek Hall gets 1 month. I mean, he gets 1 month.
I agree.
If he's not treading water, if he's batting 220, like they'll address that. They're not going to sit on their hands and give him 85 games to figure it the hell out. Like, I don't think they're in a position to do that unless they're winning. They could win in despite of it.
Yeah. You guys want to give bold predictions real quick?
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, I mean, if we're doing bold, it's got to be bold, right? It can't be like, Trey Turner MVP. That's not bold to me. I got a pitching one and a hitting one.
I have a pitching one too.
I have both.
I have an all-star one.
Hitting.
Contract year. Obviously, I think a deal gets done here. But that being said, I think Aaron Nola is a top 3 to 5 Cy Young candidate in the NL. I think that's where he ends up. I'm not saying he's going to win it. That's hard. That's a hard task. That's like almost too bold.
Oh my God.
But in that top 3, I believe it. And on the offensive side of things, I don't want to call like Alec Bohm MVP. I was having fun in Clearwater doing that. I just think it's too aggressive. I think it's too aggressive. Like it's like almost like too big of a jump.
I think you and I have the same one.
But I think he hits over 30. That's my bold prediction for Alec Bohm. And that's bold. I mean, that's a lot for him.
Yeah. I'll follow it up. Mine was Alec Bohm. Alec Bohm All-Star.
Can happen. I mean, if he hits 30, he's in there probably, because he does bat. He does have it. He does swing it pretty well.
And I think he's one of the key guys, right? Like obviously Trey, Schwarbs, those guys are obviously important. But I think you're going to be looking back at this, mid-August, and you're going to be looking back, and we're going to be in first place. At Harper's back and everything, we're going to be saying, you know what the biggest key was to us kind of treading water and really getting off to a good start while you're injured? It was Alec Bohm.
I would love it. He's due for that, right? I'm not trying to put even more pressure on the guy, but like if you look at his career trajectory, he's heading in that direction, right? You know what I mean? Like that's
he's
where
figured
he's
it out.
Towards,
it seems like
that
he's
next
figured
step.
it out.
Yep. Yeah, for sure.
Ralphie?
My pitching one is Walker outperforms Wheeler and Nola. this year. Is my bold. Is my bold one.
Probably why you don't have him win 90 games.
So the Phillies don't make the playoffs.
So the Phillies are not going to have a good year.
And my
so you did switch the Mets and Phillies on your list.
I cannot confirm or deny
Damn,
that
Ralph.
allegation. My hitting one or offensive one is Nikki C. 30 plus home runs this year. Bounce back year. 30
So
plus.
it's going to be a really weird year then.
Yes, it is.
Greg, have fun following that up.
My bold prediction from the offense, or one of them is Trey Turner swipes 50 plus bags.
Oh,
I mean, if you want me to get really bold, I think the number's 60. But
oh my God,
we'll go 50 plus.
I didn't know if it was going to be bold, but I was going to say he was going to lead the league in steals.
I just think they're trying to bring it back, and I think he's right now the best guy there.
Mm-hmm.
The most stolen bases he had in his career was 46, and that was in 17.
Yeah, 46, 43 in back-to-back years. But that was without the new rules, right? You know what I mean? Now you have a pitch clock, you have, you know what I mean? You have all these different things.
Kyle Schwarber.
Kyle Schwarber, batting 2. You know, bigger bases. Somebody throws over to first base before, you know what I mean? Everything leads to them wanting to bring small ball back.
Yep. And
small ball is going to come back. And then my other bold prediction, and I don't know if it's really that bold because I know a lot of us on here like the guy and feel like he is the guy, but I think Sir Anthony gets 35 saves.
Ooh, love that.
Like that.
I think
he's
not that other guys, like to Dynasty's point, I don't think like not necessarily 4 guys with 10. That's a lot of saves. But I think Sir Anthony cements his spot there as the closer.
Sorry. To Greg and Dynasty's point, not one, but I see 2 Phillies relievers making the NL All-Star team. I think, give me Greg Soto and Sir Anthony Dominguez.
Soto's another one where people forget that he's here.
Because he wasn't for a long time.
Yeah.
Because he was stuck in Venezuela or wherever he was.
Yeah.
I think two out of the pen. We'll see 2 out of the pen out in Seattle for the Phils in the Midsummer Classic. And give me tell you what, here's one real crazy one. Give me Derek Hall, 30 homers.
Long ball Hall. There you go.
I
mean, 97 wins. You need him to.
I mean, I'm not saying he's gonna hit 300 and drive in 140 runs, but give me 30 long balls.
I wonder what the over/under is for him. For home runs.
For home run?
Yeah.
Let's see if I can find it on DK. What, Frank?
Well,
did you go?
Yeah.
Frank, I mean, at least from what I looked up with how Derek Hall performed last year, had he played a whole 162 and going at the rate he was at, he would have had 36 stingers last season.
Here we go again with the projection stats. I like it.
I'm just saying.
So
for my bold prediction,
there you go.
I do have an offensive bold prediction.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go Kyle Schwarber and Captain America himself, Trey Turner, will finish in the top 10 in the National League for home runs.
Wow, you have Trey Turner at home runs. Wow. Interesting.
How many home runs?
He just has him in the top 10. He didn't give a number.
I have him in the top 10.
Hey, do you have Trey Turner winning the NL MVP?
I didn't get to that part. I'm just going with the prediction. Whatever Ralph was mouthing. Yeah.
Oh.
Right, here you go. I got
no.
Zach. I know Tommy has Mr. Nola as a Cy Young candidate. I'm going to go Wheeler.
To win it or just a candidate?
No, to win it.
Ethan says the Phillies have at least 6 All-Stars.
Ooh.
Ethan, can you? I think we would all like you to list those. Very interesting to see where you go with that.
List them and then figure out ways we can stuff the ballot box to get 6 All-Stars in there.
Because obviously Bryce isn't one of them, because he's not going to play enough games.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ethan, hit us with the list. Okay, we'll start with the positive here. Or no, we'll go negative. Give me one outside of the big names. Okay, give me one player that you think will have a disappointing season. Because on the flip side, after this, we're going to do a player that we think will be a positive surprise or will exceed expectations. So we'll start in the negative. A player that you're not really feeling too hot about right now.
That's probably Zach Wheeler.
Okay. Just with the health, Tom? Durability.
It's been his trend.
In September. Yeah.
Been a trend with him, and he's pitched, deep into a season.
Yep.
I don't know. I'm concerned about it a little bit. Not panic mode, but it's a concern that he could drop off a little bit this year. Hopefully not.
Kind of looking at the Cole Hamels 2009 season, where just with the innings, it just you just hit a wall. Okay.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, I know this might not be fair to say because, of course he'll probably miss almost half the year anyway, but I'm going to say Bryce Harper. If you project, say, he plays 80 games, for example, I think the stats drop off a bit, but I think he gets that bat going in mid-September, and I think he has a big postseason. But I wouldn't look for too much from him, say, from June, July, August-ish.
Ralphie?
Makes sense.
Ralphie?
I hate that I'm doing this. I hate that you have to go negative, man.
Well, you have the Mets over the Phillies, okay? You asked for this.
I see Bryson Stott taking a little dip. Bryson Stott.
Fair.
Is mine.
Okay.
Fair.
I'm right on the same lines as Dynasty. I don't get the Bailey Falter thing. I don't. I think he's just a much better Christopher Sanchez, just a spot starter. Obviously, it's not his fault that there's guys like Rangers hurt, so it propels him up. And obviously, Painter hurt. But I think the organization thinks that he has a high upside, and I don't get it.
See it. Yeah, I'm on the same boat as you.
Falter, Dynasty has Falter getting designated for assignment. I don't know if that's going to happen, but I think they're expecting him to be a solidified, reliable guy, right? And I could see it being once we're talking about this 3-4 weeks into a season, being when's Painter getting here? Painter?
Yeah.
Anybody? Painter?
Which is why for my pitching bowl prediction, I have both Andrew Painter and Griff McGarry will make their debuts this season.
Man, Mick Abel just gets.
I think with Falter, it's weird. I don't think his stuff's that good, but for some reason, more often than not, he finds a way to give you decent innings. And I know he's not a guy that's going to go deep into games, but he'll find a way to give you 5 and change,
Well,
and you find that you're still in the ball game. You know what I mean?
There's not many fifth starters that are going to go 7. So
no. I guess my question, and this goes to, I'll go to you and to Greg and Tom with this, you two guys, to where, and maybe I'm completely wrong with this, right? Maybe I'm buying too much in who he faced, but when he really got hot, late August, early September, and when he was really filling in for Wheeler, am I wrong for just looking at who he faced and it was the Nationals and some teams that were nowhere near substantial MLB teams? It's kind of I kind of see through that.
Yeah, I don't think he's a name that even needs to be really talked about. Like the DFA, it doesn't. I don't know why we're even talking DFA. He's your fifth starter. He could very well get DFA'd being a fifth starter. It happens all around baseball. So that doesn't. He's just a guy who you hope gives you 5 and gives up 2 or 3 runs. I mean that's what most fifth starters are. Can you give me some innings? Can you keep a game close? So that's why I don't even bring him up, because it's like I know what he is, and if he surprises you, great. But if he doesn't, I know who he is. I'm more worried about the other 4, right? Those other 4 are going to dictate if he matters or not, right? If there's other 4 on getting it done, then yeah. But binoculars go on Bailey Falter like shit, but it's not on him. I mean, he's the 5th freaking starter in a rotation full of, $150, $200 million arms, essentially, the first 2 at least. So, I mean, he shouldn't even be in the conversation. Like, I love Andrew Painter, right? And I love for Andrew Painter to get called up. I'm not really high on McGreary. I think he stinks. But I'm a little bit higher on Abel than I am. Abel's probably my second guy in that conversation. But again, the only guy that I think is ready for the big leagues, per se, stuff-wise, is Painter. But he's young. So, I mean, I got no problem with Bailey Falter being our 5th. I like, he's got postseason experience, right? Not that it was successful, but it matters. It's under team control type. Like it's fine. It's fine. Like, I mean, I know people out there like, we need another pitcher. Like, like, come on. I mean, how many think you're getting? You know what I mean? Like, how many? Like, all teams that win the World Series. I mean, who was the 5th starter for the Astros? Nobody even knows. So that's the point. They know the top 3 last year, the guys who were mowing us all down. Now, what did the Phillies do that the Astros had? Is they went out this offseason and spent money and resources to bolster their bullpen, because what they watched was that bullpens are winning games. So my point of bringing that up to everybody is why I don't get carried away with what my goddamn 5th starter is, right? Because that's
almost more important. That's almost much more important than your 5th starter. I know that may sound crazy, but I think your middle relievers, if you have that solidified, that more or less, that's almost just as good as having a half decent 5th starter. And I think with Falter, because of our lineup guys, Falter could get you 10 or 12 wins.
I'm gonna freak out.
Even if, I'm
gonna freak out. Like, I'm gonna freak out.
He really could.
No, not on you. Not on you. What you said's fine. I'm gonna freak out on the swoop again. I mean, what are you talking about? A reliable 5th starter is dictating you having the Phillies over or under 90 wins? I mean, come on, Ryan. Look at the whole body of the team and tell me the importance that guy makes in you being over 90. Like, sure, if the guy's coming out and giving you 5 innings, 7 runs every night, then sure, we got Houston, we got a problem, right? But come on, man. Name a 5th starter that dictates a win percentage by 3 or 4 games. Knock it off. That's dictated by the horses. That's dictated by the lineup. That's dictated by the relievers that pitch every night. Stop it. Miss me. This is what I tell people. I'm here to help you a little bit baseball-wise. That's all. I'm not here making excuses. Bailey Falter stinks to me. So whatever. He's a 5th starter. Most do. You circle like a 5th starter, I'm going to tell you, man, this is going to be the common theme. We went through every 5th starter in Major League Baseball. Every one of us would be like, meh. Unless it's a young guy who we say, ooh, that could be interesting. Could be interesting. Everybody else is meh. And most teams are 1, maybe 2, and then meh. We're like, and then Walker, we're like, okay, right? And that's your 4th. That's your 4th, people. Wake up around here. Tom, Bailey Falter is better than Matt Moore. He's better than other 5th starters.
Drew Smiley.
He's shown at least can get some outs. He's funky. He's different. And you need a lefty, guys. Yep. You need a lefty. I mean, just to break the news to y'all, we need a lefty in a rotation somewhere.
Tom, I had 3 names. For this topic, I had 3 names. Wheeler was 1, so I didn't want to take that. Falter was 3. The other one, and I don't know how important he's going to be because you have such a loaded bullpen, but I know the organization thinks it's high upside. That's Connor Brogdon. Would you say Connor Brogdon's more important
than Bailey Falter?
Yeah.
I would say, and I hate to do this, but I would say your 4 main relievers are more important than Bailey Falter.
Okay.
And those guys are more important. Their health, their ability to get outs. They're arguably the most important part of the team. That's why the Mets take a dip. That's what everybody, not you guys, but that's what some people in the chat were missing. That's why the Mets take a dip. They lost that. Now, if we lose that, we got a problem. Mm-hmm. Right? So it's all about health. This is why it's fun, because it's such a marathon and it's hard. It's hard. And it's hard to stay healthy. Right? It is. And you almost would rather have guys banged up early than later. So
I think that's what they brought in Kimbrel, especially
guys. More often than not, the games are decided between the 6th and 9th inning.
Well,
so I'd say those relievers are critical.
We didn't make the playoffs, obviously before this past year. Just look at the bullpen numbers, okay? If it wasn't, because we had historically bad bullpen numbers. If the bullpen was just bad, because they weren't even bad, they were worse than bad. 2 years prior and 3 years prior to this.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And how good were they in the second half when we got hot?
Wow.
To your point.
Yeah, you had guys that just rose to the occasion.
Yeah. So now you have 4 closers.
Well, and that's the thing. I think aside from Gregory Soto and some of the other names, I think Kimbrel was brought in here. I don't want to say them just because of Sir Anthony, but obviously Sir Anthony, we know when he's healthy, he's special. But it's always the when he's healthy asterisk next to it. So we're bringing Kimbrel. It's a perfect kind of just slide in right there. Sir Anthony's going to be going for a little bit. Okay, here's Kimbrel because he has that experience.
Well, positive note that Sir Anthony wasn't, coming off of Tommy John. Mm-hmm. The only times he was like, it was maybe got a little extra rest just because of fatigue, but no glaring issues, right? Which is huge because now you can sort of get back in your routine this year and build your strength up and stamina, and all that fun stuff. So
it was really encouraging to me. It was his usage and his demeanor in the playoffs in a sense of I'll take the ball every day whether I can go or not, right? You know what I mean?
And you saw
so that to your point, Tommy, that tells you that he's feeling good as well, right? To where he doesn't not trust his arm at this point of the year. He's feeling good. He's feeling healthy. Now, he was never used that way, thankfully, because Robbie's a smart guy. Yeah. But he was I'm available. I'm good to go.
Yeah, well, Craig, we talked about this, Craig. But I mean, when you look at Kimball's splits, I mean, Frank loves splits. When you look at his splits, the dude got rocked against Arizona. That's it. Yeah. Like in reality, that's why his earned run average was a little inflated. But I mean, he's still a guy who can get outs, and if you don't need him closing, it's just a veteran. You can't have enough guys who have been in the situation before.
And then the 2 guys from the left just throw absolute gas, which you can never have enough of those guys.
Yeah, we got a really deep bullpen, boys. I mean, I don't think we're giving our bullpen, I'll read it off to the family real quick, but I don't think we're giving our bullpen enough credit from where we've been, like Ryan said 2 years ago, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, 2 years ago, it was downright atrocious. Yeah. So you're looking at Sir Anthony, Alvarado, Kimbrel, Soto, Bellotti, who pitched well.
Really well last year.
Right?
Yep.
Connor Brogdon, who pitched really well.
Down the stretch,
Yep. Junior Marte is a flyer, right?
Oh, my God. I can't wait to see him.
I like him.
I do like him, too. He's more a middle relief guy, right? Yeah. And then your long relief right now is Andrew Vasquez, who is just a guy, another lefty. So, but now this.
But he's there because Strom is now in the line.
I was going to say Strom will eventually be in here too. Yeah.
That's what I was just getting to. Strom right now is your. No. You guys are good. I can't see you, so I'm just looking at. Strom is listed as our 5th right now. I mean, not that I'm going off of this. Bailey Falter's actually listed as our 3rd. I don't know if that's just the way they have their rotation set up early on, but
they do.
But either way,
they're saving Walker for New York. Yeah.
Okay, either way, it doesn't matter. But yeah, you guys are right. Matt is listed as your 5th starter right now, but obviously he'll get moved to the pen, and that's another good long reliever. So, I mean, shit. I mean, look at our pen. That's it's pretty good, boys. Pretty good.
Who's everybody's one?
Sounds like 97 wins to me.
Yeah, I'm not gonna do that.
There we go.
This is where we come down to earth.
Sorry, my down is Derek Hall.
Fair.
I too side with Greg. I'm also going to go with Derek Hall.
Who's everybody's surprise positive?
Nick Castellanos.
Damn it, man.
You can say the same thing, Ralph.
Yeah, you can say the same damn thing. I mean, he's the
We need him.
He's
Dude, there's no shot he's hitting 13 home runs again this year. There's no possible way.
I wasn't gonna bold prediction him because I don't feel like I have to. Right? I feel like he's been too good of a hitter his whole career.
Mhm.
I'm not here to make excuses for nobody. It happens. New place, getting comfortable, timing's off, whatever the case may be. Didn't seem like he ever found it.
Had a kid
But-
right in the beginning of spring
Yeah,
training,
I
where
mean,
right when he got on the team. Just
Yeah.
all
Ben
things
Simmons'
add up,
house.
right? All things add up.
Like I'm not making excuses. You need the hit, bro. Right? You get paid a lot of money, but I also understand it's not MLB the show. So all I have is my response to the negative, my response to my failure. I talk about this with my kids all the time, right? This isn't basketball. Your failure rate is gigantic. So how do you respond to it? Shows you a lot about a player. So we're going to find out a lot about a guy like Nick, who struggled mightily last year, but again, never took it to the field, boys. So I'm hoping that's a sign of a great response, right, Ralphie? Right?
Yep.
And then you can go about Nick on your point, but I believe he's a guy. I'm not going to sit here and tell you it's 35 home runs, right? I'm not going to tell you that happens like it did in Cincinnati. But what I'll tell you is he's a guy who hits 25 plus this year. He's a guy who bats.
Oh, I agree, 100%.
That's closer to 270, right?
It gets back to normal. He has to.
Yes.
To get back to normal. There's no shot he hits 13 home runs again this year. I think he only had like 60 something RBIs. Definitely not him. And like you guys were
62.
saying, new place. Okay, 62. New place. Everything was going on in the beginning of spring training for him. Never got really settled, and we saw it throughout the playoffs too, where the dude was swinging at everything. I mean, everything. Sliders in the dirt, curveballs in the dirt, everything above his eyes, he was swinging, and everybody knew that. So you didn't even have to throw him a strike in the zone. You could throw a ball all the way into the Phillies dugout, and he was still swinging. I mean, it was to the point where he was
guessing,
himself.
right? He was guessing because he wasn't right.
100%.
You're absolutely right.
And you
100%.
can tell when a guy's not comfortable.
Yeah.
You can tell when a guy's is totally guessing up there. And you can tell when a guy doesn't trust his instincts as a hitter. And what we were watching was a guy who didn't. Now, they put a big time emphasis on him staying inside the baseball more, him using right field a lot more. So hopefully it pays off.
Yep.
Which is what he's done traditionally, right? I mean, to both your points, his just like most guys when they're locked in and is opposite gap, right? That opposite center gap. Nicky loves that right center gap. And I know he only hit a couple, but if you look at his home runs this spring, and again, spring training means nothing, but if you look at his home runs, where were they? Right center field.
Yeah, last year, aside from the occasional home run, which again he only had 13, which seems impossible, his bat looked like Roman Quinn. You know what I'm saying? It was slap, 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 open field, open field, open field. That's the only. He wasn't making solid contact the entire year.
No,
it was so foreign to what he is. Like if people
he was
want to
trying
say,
to make it up at one swing. So
yes, he was pressing,
Yeah.
pressing, because he knew almost like he had to go out of his comfort zone because for some reason he just lost that power. I don't know. Who knows what it was, right?
Well, it's like you talk to hitters about staying middle. Like I talk to hitters more about staying middle because if I think the middle of the field, I can then react better on the outside pitch and I can react in. But if I'm thinking pool and I'm thinking pool, what I get in trouble with is the outside stuff will dominate me, right? Yeah, and I start pulling off stuff, etc. Like there's a lot of reasons why a guy may have struggled, but I think we hit the nail on the head on a lot of reasons on why.
It feels weird calling him a surprise because again, like he's not a no-name guy. He made a really nice job.
Sorry, Ryan, real quick.
Yeah,
he was like top before he got banged up. He was top 10 in the NL in hits.
Oh yeah. They didn't look pretty, but it was they were happening.
Yeah. I mean, it was there. I mean, people would tell me, and I'd be like, "Wait, what?" I guess I don't watch enough. I don't know what's going on. Okay, all right. But he had his moments. He just didn't have, like Ralphie said, he didn't have the long ball.
It feels weird calling him a surprise because, again, he made a really solid jump both offensively and defensively. But I'm going to say it's a surprise because of how big of a jump he's going to make. Like, I honestly believe second half of the year, end of the season, we're going to be talking about we've got a guy. Like, we already had a guy in Turner, Harper, Schwarber. Hopefully Castellanos rejoins that group. I think Alec Bohm is going to be really fun to watch. I really do. I think you're going to say, okay, the storylines of him at third being an absolute landmine, that's gone. Like, are you going to have hiccups? Sure, but who doesn't? It's 2023 baseball. Like, not exactly the calling card of good defense, right? Like, we all know that. But I think Alec Bohm is going to be one of the fundamental pieces to really getting through the stretch. And I think he's going to only gain more confidence from there. Because, again, if you can – I don't want to say he's going to carry the team because I think that's taking things away from the talent of other guys. But I think he's going to be one of those guys that really steps up in the loss of others. So I'll say it's a surprise for him because I have him making the All-Star team. So I think that's going to be a gigantic leap for somebody who we saw a little bit of him 2-3 years ago, right, when he was called up, and we were like, oh, okay, his floor is that somebody who just hits for contact. The power will eventually come. Now, again, to Greg's point, string training doesn't mean anything. It's made up. But if the power continues to show up, even more now with obviously how he battles in the counts, he hits for contact, and he improves on defense, that's exactly what you're looking for. Like, we forget sometimes that this guy was one of the bigger prospects down in the farm system. If he translates to this, I think that's really going to be, something that we look back on saying this was not the Alec Bohm season, but this is where we really found out that this is a foundational piece going forward.
No, I think the guy can bat 290 in his sleep as he gets more comfortable in the big leagues. And I think he's a guy who can lose 25 baseballs. So, I think he really makes up this year, not only clubhouse-wise, but on the field a lot for the loss of Rhys Hoskins. So I'll say that, like, when you talk about, like, he shouldn't, like, have to carry, in 162, guys have to carry. Like everybody has to carry at different times, right? Mm-hmm. Like a guy might carry for be hot as a pistol for 2.5 weeks, right? Mm-hmm. And then gets cold for 2 weeks and then hot again. So, when you talk about baseball as a whole and this long of a gauntlet, you need guys to get red hot. So, sure. You're going to need him to carry you for a couple week period offensively because other guys might be cold. You never know how it shakes out, but I agree with everything because I think he's legit.
Ralphie, you had Nikki. Greg?
Yeah. My surprise is going to be is Connor Brogdon.
Okay.
I really liked what I saw from him in the playoffs. I really think he found his niche, and I think he found his groove with his changeup. And he was damn near unhittable after that first outing, right? And he even admitted after that first outing in the playoffs, I was amped up, I was nervous as hell. But ever since then, he was just as unhittable as some of those other guys in the bullpen. You just didn't necessarily recognize it. But I think he's a guy, especially early on when we're battling through some of these injuries where you have Bailey and Strome in the rotation. I think he's going to be a key guy that's going to get some big outs early on. And not that he's not going to get them late also, but I think he has a big year. As big as a middle reliever can. But
well, and if for some reason, Greg, some of your top guys, your big four in the bullpen go down for a week or two, well, Connor, here you are.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Noah, surprise positive?
Yeah, I got a good surprise here. Brandon Marsh, I think he plays a very nice center field. I'm not going to go crazy here, but I think he's going to hit you 20 dingers.
Ooh.
And
Ooh.
I think he'll hit around 275, 280 and be even keeled and pretty damn productive offensively.
If he hits 280, we're going to Broad Street.
Whoa,
maybe 97 wins. Maybe that's where you're at.
Yeah. Listen, he's consistent. No one's consistent. You know what I'm saying? It all leads to
everything adds up. You're right. Everything adds up to 97 in that head.
Can I not to steal your thunder, Frank, with the
hell yeah, let's go.
But I did
Red October.
I did have this earlier, and it goes to the Brandon Marsh thing, and it could also go to the projection if you see it a little bit, and you have to see it of Pache. Marsh pre-trade, 226, 284, 353, a 36.2 strikeout percentage. Marsh with post-trade, so with long, 288, 319, 455, 29.7 strikeout percentage. And then Sosa, right? Because Sosa's thrown in here. Pre-trade, 189, 244, 270. And then Sosa with the Phillies with Long, 315, 345, 593. So again, when you talk about projection, this is now a full off season. You know, we already saw, like, we all saw the pictures like of the, you know, Marsh's stance with the Angels and then his stance like 2 weeks after he came to the Phillies. We saw that like that. Now you got a full off season. He's really, I don't want to say he's
not only that, you got so much support in the lineup.
Yeah, he doesn't have to do the guy.
No,
hitting can be contagious, right?
This is a clubhouse that talks hitting. It's a lot of veterans who talk hitting. So I think when guys come in here that are younger, that are willing to listen to some of the vets and Kevin Long, you know, you'll see that. I don't think there's a shot in hell Brandon Marsh bats 280 this year, but I will buy into him losing some more baseballs. Agreed. I will buy into like 20 homers. Like, I'm just not going to buy into 280. You want to talk about like 265, maybe 270 on a high season? Okay. But I do buy into him losing more baseballs for sure. I don't know how many he lost here. I know he had some in the postseason. I think he had like 2 in the postseason.
It says 3.
Yeah, so I mean,
he had a huge one that broke the game open against Atlanta.
Yeah, it just depends on what they do. Like, I mean, we talk about 20 homers. He's not going to have 20 homers if he's splitting time. So it depends on how that works, right? You know, he could maybe bat 280 if he splits time. But if you're batting 280, you're probably going to stop splitting time. So it's going to be interesting to see if that's a platoon out there, if that's righty-lefty matchups with Pache and Marsh. So I'm interested to see how they go about that.
It's weird because as soon as I saw the Pache thing, I'm thinking to myself, well, he could probably be kind of like your defensive replacement in the 7th inning. But then I remember, oh wait, Marsh is good on defense.
Yeah, but you put him in left for Schwarber.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
Or you put him in right for Nick. So I mean, there's ways to still get him on the field.
Fair. Frank? Oh no.
Sorry, I just saw the crying video.
Crying video?
Oh.
Yeah, for the show.
I got you.
Yeah.
I have no idea. Crying video.
I do.
Oh.
It was discussed. Pre-show.
Oh.
Off
yeah.
Yeah, I didn't see it. Raw footage.
We got crying baby and laughing Frank.
Yep.
Sure. But I apologize.
Yeah, we'll leave it at that. But my breakout player, I'm going to go Bryce Stott.
Yeah, good pick, Frank.
Yeah, it is.
Great job today, Frank.
Because it's either sophomore slumpish, right? Or, this dude's real. Yeah, I mean, this dude's real, right? So you find out. I just need to be an A+ defender, right? Hit enough.
Let me see here.
I mean, same thing with Marshy. I know I left at the end of that real quick, but same thing with Marshy, right? Hit enough because you already are an A+ defender there, right? And Tommy, as I was leaving, you were saying if he splits time, I don't know. I think the organization's really high on him. I don't know what you guys said because I did step away for a second. I think the organization's really high on him. So I don't think it's going to be a full set platoon. I think he plays 5 out of 7, 4 out of 6.
Yeah.
Right. You know what I mean? Because I don't think you give up Ohapi for a guy that you're going to full-time platoon, right? You know what I mean?
No, I mean, the only time is like tough lefties, like really tough lefties.
Yeah.
That's it. So I wouldn't call it platoon because there's not enough lefties in the league to platoon. But as much as a platoon as you can get when you're the lefty who's the starter.
Yeah.
It's different if you're the righty who's the starter, right? Then that righty gets less time because the next thing you know, it's
what
like
we went through last year with Verling and Odubel.
Yep. So this is like, you're right. This is Brandon Marsh's job to lose. I don't think he loses it. I think he has a very good season. You know what I mean? So, and I don't think Christian Pache will ever hit. So, I that's just my feel. I feel like he'll never hit. He's never hit ever. So, he's just been an upside guy that's never had really upside. Besides being like a great athlete, in my opinion. Right?
Matt, congrats, brother.
Congratulations.
It's life-changing, Matty.
Nice. Have fun, Matt.
That's awesome, brother.
In a good way, Matt. It's life changing in a good way. It's have a lot of anxiety. That's all.
You guys want to give me final 2 teams in each league?
Huh.
Final 2.
Sure.
AL. They're gonna do it this year. Give me the Seattle Mariners going to the World Series this year.
Okay.
For the
Seattle
first
goes
time
to the World
ever.
Series.
Ooh,
In the NL,
spicy.
Boy,
Wait, who was your
our
2
Phils
teams?
are
in the
gonna
AL?
have
Who were
our
your 2 teams
Phils are gonna have some 3,000-mile flights in October, huh, Ralph?
you wanted ALCS too?
Yeah, just give me top 4. Might as well. We're here.
Oh shit!
While we're here. Oh, just name one other team you think's going to be good, Ralph.
Well, I gotta see. Hold on. Let me bring up the stats since
Oh,
everybody
he's
likes
gotta-
stats.
He's got to check his sheet.
Make sure it's
Oh,
okay.
jeez. All right. Mm-hmm.
Mariners, Yankees, ALCS is for me.
Oh.
Tom didn't like that. Tom didn't
Mariners,
like that.
Yankees,
Tom
ALCS.
didn't like that. Tom did not like that. Was that yours, Tom?
No.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
For my AL, I've got Guardians, Blue Jays.
Guardians, Blue Jays. I actually kind of like that.
Thank you,
Not
Ralph.
gonna lie.
That is very interesting.
And I've got Blue Jays going.
For mine, I got Mariners going. Obviously.
Oh, is this gonna be a repeat of '93 there, Ryan?
Hope not. I don't. No.
Well,
Cleveland going,
obviously,
not
we hope
Toronto.
it's a different ending.
Yeah, fair. No, Greg, he's talking about he thinks I'm going Blue Jays Phils.
Well, yeah, but you said Guardians. Didn't you say Guardians going?
No, I said Blue Jays. I said Toronto.
He's got the Blue
Toronto's
Jays going.
Oh, sorry. I'll see myself out.
Yeah. I mean, the Guardians can go. I mean, to have fun. They can go too.
As long as they don't play the Yankees, they can't beat the Yankees.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Anybody else's AL? Frank?
Yeah.
Here, I'll go.
Oh, okay.
Go. Who's going?
You.
Go ahead,
Yeah.
Frank.
All right, I'll go then. Okay.
Go for it, pal. This is great radio. Great job today.
Let me just say 2 fucking teams. Please.
Jesus. I am going to go with the Yankees representing the AL.
We did all that just to put the Yankees in.
The Yankees win.
Yeah. And I got the Yankees beating. They're beating the Astros.
Yankees in the World Series.
Yankees go to the World Series.
I might not watch that series. I might not watch it.
Oh, there was a World Series this year.
Noah?
All right. In the end, I will go AL first. All right. ALCS.
Yeah.
I got the Astros beating the Yankees. I think the Astros go back to the World Series again.
Oh my
I have our Phillies in the ALCS.
Wow, the Phillies jumped leagues.
I'm sorry, in the NLCS. Damn, it's getting late.
What a season.
There you go. Oh wow. I
The
got
Athletics and brought them back to Philadelphia.
yeah, right. I got the Phillies beating the Dodgers in the National League Championship Series, and I got the Philadelphia Phillies with a rematch against the Astros in the World Series. This time we win it, boys.
Greg?
My NLCS.
Greg didn't even give his teams.
Oh shit! Sorry.
Great job.
Noah just jumps the gun and just goes all in.
I just
Tom didn't go
I
yet
just-
either. Tom didn't even give his AL.
I'm just pushing all my chips in the middle of the table.
Give me the Indians versus the Mariners.
Yes.
They will be the Indians.
Oh.
And I'll go Cleveland to advance.
Tom? I have a feeling you've got one team locked in and you're trying to decide between the other team, right? Like you've got do you have like a bubble of 3 teams that you really like and you're trying to eliminate one?
Yeah, I mean Houston's in.
Okay.
I know they lost. I know what they lost. I get it. They're good.
Yeah, they're very good.
They know how to win, so that matters to me. So they're back. And then it's like between you got obviously your favorites in New York, right? I do like the Toronto, so I don't want to go to same. I do like the Guardians, but I don't want to go to same. So you're trying to look for some sleepers, right? That haven't been said.
Do it.
And I'm like,
do it. I almost did it.
What? Well, where are you going? Where are you going?
Is it
Come
the Central,
on.
Greg? Is it the Central?
No. East Coast?
You
going Baltimore? You going Baltimore? I almost went there.
No shot.
It's them and it's them and Tampa. Or my Tampa's good. Yo, Tampa's good.
Yeah.
Tampa's good. So I might go crazy. It's just because I don't want to think the same as you guys either. So Houston, I can't turn down. Right? They just have a pedigree of going. But Tampa's good.
They are.
And
they can pitch.
Yeah, and Rosarena loves the stage.
30 Randy loves the stage.
Right. I wish I could go as
Wander's
crazy.
A stud.
Wander's a stud. Yandé Diaz to me is a good player.
Yeah.
Brandon Lau, I just like his hits. And then it's whatever. And then they have guys like younger cats, and they got some, they got Christian Betancourt behind the plate, but they got young guys in their rotation outside of Eflin.
And Tyler Glasnow's a stud once he gets back healthy.
Yeah, I mean Shane McClanahan is their number one.
He's a pimp.
Yeah, so I mean, whatever. That's just for fun.
I
love it.
I like that you considered Baltimore too. I mean, obviously it's not a
not there yet. When Kyle Gibson, your opening day started.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was just kind of there's going to be a couple of times where I literally make a trip down to Baltimore just to watch Rushman.
Oh.
Yeah, Rushman.
And Gunnar Henderson, if he makes the team, might be. Did he make? I don't know if he made it or not, but he's going to be a rookie of the year favorite.
Gunnar is going to be so good for them. Him and Adley too. Oh my god!
And then they got a stud. They got a stud in the back end. That Felix Bautista.
Yes,
he's a pimp.
Keep on forgetting Adley got caught up. Did he get caught up last year? Adley did.
Yeah,
he's good, man. He's
I'm
good.
telling you, I remember. I don't remember the last time I was like, "Oh, I want to go see an Orioles game." I would literally do it just to watch those stuff.
Yeah, I'll get cute now and go first because I'm not letting this happen.
Yeah,
again.
Gunnar might hit 35 just because of his name. I mean, that's a great.
Yeah, I forgot. Did the Phils make a trip to Camden Yards this year?
I'm not too sure.
I mean, they definitely play him. I think for some reason I think the Orioles come here.
Okay.
Orioles, Phillies. I will let you know. Go ahead, Tom.
Oh man, Phillies are back in it. Fuck the Dodgers. I don't like the Dodgers. So I'm between.
Said everybody.
Yeah, so I'm between St. Louis and Atlanta.
Oh, no Padres love either. I like that.
Screw the Padres.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're good though. But they're
Padres.
It's never chalk, boys, right? It's sort of never chalk. So I'm trying to go unchalkish. Outside of us just taking our squad. Let me look at the Padres again. Oh my god,
Padres are nasty.
I don't think I stop. Oh my god,
they're disgusting.
You can't.
Disgusting.
If Tatis actually is a grown up, he'll actually
yeah.
If Tatis isn't injured by April 4th,
or is a grown up.
Yeah,
but all that being said, I'm gonna go Phillies Braves.
All right,
Phillies Braves, NLCS for a trip to the World Series, baby.
Yeah, I'm right there too. I had Phil's Braves.
Let's go.
Phillies Padres for me.
I can't argue there.
Phillies Padres stacked lineups going against each other.
Even without Tatis, Tatis don't even matter. That's why they got Bogarts. Tatis don't even matter. Like as soon as I click back on and remember they got Bogarts, I was like, holy shit.
1 through 5 is nasty for them. You can't pitch around nobody.
Even before they got Bogarts, Tatis was moved to the outfield anyway. Kim was going to play shortstop if they didn't get Bogarts.
Our 1 through 5 could be nasty even without Harper for a minute, right? If you look at the comparisons, like Turner, Schwarber,
and then you just slide Harper
JT,
in, and it's like
Nicky, Bohm. I mean, could be probably not as good as theirs though.
Ralphie, I'm surprised you didn't go Mets. I'm surprised.
Oh my god!
I'm surprised you didn't hit us with the Mets.
Mets stink.
It was Padres Phils, you said?
Yeah, for me. Yes, Padres Phillies for me. Phillies winning in 7. They go to the World Series.
By the way, the Padres, their pitching kind of good also. Musgrove's not even healthy right now.
They might win the West. They might win it.
They have Darvish as their 6th starter right now.
They might win the West this year. I'm telling you, Padres going to be disgusting.
Rotation?
And again, it's thrown off. I think the Darvish thing was probably because of the WBC, if I had to guess. But right now, and this is without Musgrove, so you put Musgrove in here somewhere. It's Snell, Martinez, Waka, Lugo. They have to be determined at 5th, and then Darvish is 6th. So I guess Darvish is their 5th right now.
Yeah, Lugo stinks.
Martinez stinks.
Waka's a guy, and obviously Musgrove.
We saw what Mexico did to Martinez in the WBC.
But Darvish, Snell, Musgrove is good for sure.
Yes.
Darvish, Snell, Musgrove is definitely good for sure.
The funny thing too is, and again, he had a rough year last year, but like I'm looking at their projected lineup: Bogart, Soto, Machado, Cronenworth, Carpenter, Kim, Grisham, Nola, Dahl.
It dies though. It dies.
It does. Carpenter could easily be subbed in for Nelson Cruz.
Yes, that's going to be a platoon.
Yes,
that will be a full-fledged platoon, lefty right,
and that's not
Carpenter and Cruz are both 90.
Yeah, and that's not including Tatis. Also, once again, if he wants to be a grown-up,
he's suspended, right?
He's still serving 20 games,
like 30 games, 20 games.
Yeah.
All right. Well, yep.
Greg, your 2 teams.
Phillies Cards. I told myself I wasn't going to pick the Phillies.
Yes, I get the shit talk from again for 7 games.
I told myself I was going to take the Phillies just because I didn't think so, but here we are, and we're in baseball mode now, so we're all go, all systems go.
Oh yeah.
Frank, you going with the Cardinals? Epez?
It's clock loaded.
Yepes! Okay, I had to get that on my system since you said Cardinals.
The only guy who scored a run against us in that series? Yepes?
Yepes! Okay, yes. For me, I broke everybody today. I love it. For me, I'm gonna go.
I don't know.
Great job today, Frank.
I'm gonna go San Diego.
And who? The Phillies?
Not the Phillies.
No,
he's going with the Mets.
He's going with
the Mets. He's going with the Mets. You could say
Mets won like 800
collapse.
games.
Yeah,
The Mets will collapse.
That's the ultimate hate the face prediction, by the way. Padres Mets.
Mm-hmm.
Yo, Don, that's a nasty profile picture, and I suggest you should change it, dude.
Oh, I talked to him all night about it. I said,
that's crazy, man.
Your presence is upsetting me.
But exactly, Don. Yepes indeed.
You don't even have the Phillies making the NLCS, Frank.
He has the Mets winning 96 games.
What's
I
a
don't even
failure?
got the Mets winning that.
Before we get out of here, what's a failure?
For the
What's
Phillies?
a failure of the season for you guys?
Not making it to the NLCS.
I agree with Ralph.
Not making it there. You at least got to get back there.
Maybe I'm not being fair, but not making the World Series. But hey, life isn't always fair, right?
Yeah, I was going to say playoffs. You got to make the playoffs at least.
Playoffs, yeah.
Oh my God.
Factor in a lot. I mean, we're all riding high, right? We're all, preseason jacked up, but long season, kind of, get me back to the playoffs. But yeah, I mean, ultimately, you got to get to the NLCS. But I'm not gonna. You get me back to the playoffs, I'm not gonna poo-poo on it.
Mm-hmm.
I will. Whoa! You talking about like the play-in? Like a wild card?
No. Like you're hosting. But then you're right. You're right. Everything's going to change, and you come in, you get swept if they're hosting. You're like, maybe that was the sucky ass year.
Yeah, the NLC to me, I don't. You don't like to put World Series or bust,
especially with how hard it is to get back.
It is. But I think it's NLCS though. And then it just becomes how you lose it if it's successful or not or not a failure.
I think the hardest, again, and this is why we were all fans of it, right? But like Greg, you and I were really talking about it early, like friggin' like January early, on how we were really hoping we would have a good wave of health with our starting rotation and be able to like have the option to go 6-man rotation, because we saw our rotation hit a wall, right? And that was like in September. Now it's kind of like, well, you're already going into a shortened off season because you obviously played until freaking November. It's just, I think that's going to be just kind of the thing that just looms around us, which again shows how important the bullpen is. And obviously, what you can get out of Ranger, which I think is going to be really important, maybe even Walker. Because they hit a wall when you didn't have kind of that late start to things and kind of just recovering from the season prior. I think that's just going to be the biggest obstacle. I have high expectations, as we all do, as far as our lineup, our bullpen, all that stuff, and our ability to get better, right, with an aggressive organization. But I think it's going to come down to those top two guys. And when you already have serious concerns about Wheeler in a normal year, I don't know. I think that's kind of the biggest thing to me.
Yeah, the only devil's advocate is not even devil's advocate to it is, because you can't go 6-man, is that you just don't pitch counts early, man. You're using your bullpen, you're using your pieces out there. You're using guys who didn't go that long last year per se, right? And you're trying to figure some things out. So I mean, there's ways to try to like preserve it a little bit. Right, but I would have preferred the 6-man early. And guess what? If they really wanted to, they can still goddamn do it. So, so we'll see how they shake out, because it is an interesting thing coming into the season on how they handle guys who went deep last year. Right?
Yes, sir.
Tomorrow's the day, fellas.
Today's the day.
Today, baby.
Phillies play baseball.
Today, it's well after midnight.
Yeah. Well,
today's the day.
On that note.
Everybody good?
Yeah.
All right, great. Let's go tomorrow.
Yeah, let's do it.
I can't breathe. Hopefully the Phillies bats breathe. Because you hope to come out swinging and hot. But you got a tough matchup tomorrow right out Jump Street. And that's the Grom, and he's healthy right now. So you gotta assume this is a dog fight, but you know how it goes. Got to get the starters early. So let's see how we come out tomorrow. But remember, people, it's one goddamn game. They don't play the next night, of course. So hopefully they do win. But it's one game. So let's enjoy a great season.
I'll go out on a limb a little bit. We tagged DeGrom for 5 runs tomorrow.
Okay.
97 wasn't enough of a limb. You had to go out on another.
Yeah, I would tell you to stop climbing out on the limbs, because they're about to snap if they haven't already, and that's why you're laying there, because they snap. You're laying in a farm all by yourself. All right, boys. Everybody knows who everybody is. We don't got to run through. Brought to you by FanUp. Go check them out. Gleason's Bar, Levittown. Go check them out. BOAGGIO'S Bread, Mount Laurel. Go check them out. You need a realtor, our boy Alan Foy. Search his name. EXP Realty. All right? Ain't hard to do. Besides that, that's cool. We got baseball tomorrow. Let's go!
Let's